I said that I basically needed a financial partner for deals that I'm interested in Fall River. I have 2 people that mentioned they were interested in joining me. And I also have a few deals that I'm working on with a wholesaler that hopefully I'll be looking at and getting under contract soon.
Awesome. So where are the deals?
Fall River, all Fall River,
Melissa,
all very
taking
specific
action.
criteria.
Awesome. Well, keep us posted next week. Show up again. Let us know how it goes. Let's give Melissa a round of applause. It's fantastic. Elizabeth Miller, I see you here, the queen of cold calling. I'm making a co-host now. How have you been?
Good. I'm still getting used to, cold calling, just like most newbies here. I do have some experience behind me, but, I've been working on my systems, so I'm not quite ready to reveal everything. But with any business, right, you want professional development, you want to upskill, reskill, learn something new. And that's why we're all here, right? Practice and hone our skills.
Okay. So welcome back to Wholesaling Bootcamp. I welcome everyone. We have some veterans here who's been here for us for over a year now. I see new faces, which is fantastic, means we're growing our community. My name is Darina, and together with Gualter, Elizabeth, and Kevin, we've been growing this wonderful team. We now have students and members from all over the country. It's exciting, and we're going nationwide with deals. And I'm just again welcoming everyone here. It's a very comfortable place to ask questions and also share comments, share the wins. If you have any deals that you want to bring on and questions on those, this is the right place and this is the right time. We have a wonderful speaker, which I have Elizabeth introduce in just a few minutes. But as of now, we're moving along. Anyone has any burning question, feel free to unmute your mic and ask them away. And again, this is a fantastic place to be. Don't be shy. This is your chance. And by the way, we are live on Facebook, and if your camera is not on, Facebook doesn't know that you're there. So just a quick encouragement. Everett.
I do. Yeah, I was going to say, I do have a contract assignment. It's a single family. It's available in Washington State, Everett, Washington, which is about an hour north of Seattle, an hour south of the Canadian border. So it's in the Pacific Northwest. I am a landlord in Washington State in Whatcom County, but this is in Snohomish County. So if you are interested, let me know. I can get you the details or throw them in the chat.
Yeah, throw them in the chat. Excellent. And anybody else has a question? Michael, I'm gonna put you on the spot. What's going on with your world in real estate?
Talking to me, right?
Yes, Michael Owusu.
Owusu, yeah, thank you. No, I'm a landlord. I own a 3-unit apartment, and currently looking to get into some wholesaling very soon to build some capital.
Excellent. And what state?
Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Yeah, a lot of our people from Massachusetts. So definitely Elizabeth is a good resource. We have Rick from Tampa, Melissa in Massachusetts, Teresa. Teresa is from mid-state somewhere, Arizona.
Oh, sorry, Alabama, California.
Alabama.
Yes.
Excellent. Hi, Kevin Pereira. Good to see you.
Hey, everybody. How we doing? It's Monday.
Let's
go.
Calling for contracts. By the way, guys, get out of your comfort zone and call. And I would suggest, if you're here for the first time, you can watch Elizabeth and Kevin cold call, which will begin right after our wonderful speaker, and volunteer, dial in for 20 minutes if you have 30 minutes an hour, and call. And if you don't have a list, if you don't have a market, if you don't have a list, just drop it in the chat. Will help you to identify better areas for you to invest in, and how to build a list, how to skip trades. There's a lot of systems and tools, and you can choose what's right for you. We have wholesaling guide that we will be happy to share with you as well. You can look through, see how it's done. If you're high C personality, you want to read the whole thing, it's almost 100 pages. But here on the call is like the best place to learn. So don't be shy. Volunteer to cold call live. Put yourself into the position to collect the leads. And like if we are comfortable, we're not growing, right? And success is on the other side of a comfort. So you want to put yourself in a very safe environment. Just try out your skills. And we go for no's, right, Elizabeth? We go for no's because what happens when we have yes, we drop, oh yes, we got the win. We don't want to call anymore, like at least for the night. But if we go for 100 no's,
I would
right?
say in one conversation, go for 3 no's.
Ooh.
One conversation goes for 3 no's. That's what I do at least. No, you're not looking to sell. Okay, friends and family, do you know anybody who would benefit from selling? No, not today. What about in the future? You got to go for those three basic no's.
Excellent.
Sorry.
Yeah. And go for no's. If someone says no, it's a conversation starter. So, right, it's a conversation starter. It's not like, oh, shoot, I have to I'm embarrassed this person didn't like me. No, it's okay. Ask them why. What are they looking for? Sometimes we're looking for sales, but they can actually become buyers. Like, what else are they looking to buy? Who else do they know? Invite them here if they want to get more deals, right? Like, we are an abundant community with Alchemist mindset. So any other questions, anything you have in your mind you want to bring up to the group?
Also,
hi, my name's Carita, and I don't know if this is appropriate, so you'll have to tell me. But I have some real estate that I'm selling in Northern California, multifamily, and it's going to be moving from an agent to me at the end of the month. So I will be selling it for sale by owner at the end of the month. It can be seen on Zillow. Would you like that information or?
Yes, absolutely. And what state was it again?
California.
Okay, excellent. So
yeah, if you go to 2915 Godman Avenue, Godman, Chico, California, 95973. You can see it on Zillow. It's 3 units, 3 houses on 1 parcel. The parcel is developable, 13 per acre.
yeah, if you want to drop either the Zillow link in the chat, other people will have access to it after the call. They'll be able to, yeah, that's great.
Okay.
thank you.
I'm not sure I know how to do that, but I'll try.
Oh, are you on a cell phone?
No, I'm on my laptop.
Okay, so bottom of your Zoom screen, there should be a little chat box, a little bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Click on that, another menu will open, and then you can type it in there or copy and paste. Even if it's a link, it's okay.
Okay, fantastic. Well, since we don't have questions right this moment, they will come up during the session. We are here for another almost 3 hours. We typically call for 2 hours, so stick with us, stay committed, and I will give the lead to Elizabeth Miller. First of all, let's give Elizabeth a round of applause and Kevin a round of applause because they've been holding it together for over a year now. It's fantastic. Thank you guys. So Elizabeth, would you like to take a moment and introduce the speaker of the night?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Dorina. Thank you to you and Gualter for, creating this great forum, not only the Zoom world that we meet every Monday on, but also the Facebook group and multiple opportunities to connect, ask questions, network. It's a great community. We've had, today's guest is Amber Crow. We've had her on before, and she is a rock star. She's helped Kevin Pereira with their VA system and their cold calling training, and she's going to be speaking today. So I'll go ahead and let her take it over. So thank you, Amber.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm so happy to be here, you guys. I love this group. You guys are putting some major value out, and just the community that you guys have built, like, that's not easy to do. So kudos to you guys, and it takes a village. So today I want to talk to you guys about the very, very basics, the very, very foundation of what it takes to be successful on your own when you're working from home and in cold calling, because there's a lot that we need to learn about ourselves in order to be successful when we're doing new things in general. So this is the very basics of my HR process. When I hire someone on, this is the very first lesson that I give. It's about how to be self-aware and how to be self-managed. And if we have time and you guys are getting value from this, I'll throw in the last bit, which is this: how to push through failure like a pro. Because I am a pro at pushing through failure. I have failed at almost everything, and I'm still winning because of that. So I'm going to share my screen so we can do a little presentation. But I am super excited to walk you guys through what I've learned and just share some examples with you guys of kind of what it looks like. So, I need sharing access. You're good.
I just clicked on it. You should be good. Thanks.
Okay, cool. There we go. All right. So can everyone see my screen? Yeah, thumbs up. Okay, cool. So this is one of my little thingies my VA's put together. You can find me all over social media. Amber Calls with Love is the tag. So whenever you're ready, there you go. But let's move forward here. So let's talk about self-awareness. Why is that important? Well, in order to manage ourselves, we have to know what we're managing. And when we're working from home and we don't have a boss and there's nobody looking over us to make sure that we're doing what we need to do, it's very, very easy to fall off, right? Would you guys agree? So I came up with these 10 steps for self-awareness, and I've got 10 more for self-management. Take what you need and leave the rest, but I guarantee you that one of these will speak to you in some way, shape, or form. So the quote for this one is by Nathaniel Branden. It's: the first step to change is awareness. And so in order to be self-managed, we have to be self-aware. And not all of us are self-aware. I at one time was very much not self-aware. And I had to learn this slowly about how to be a better person for myself, right? Being a work-at-home entrepreneur, you have to be self-managed. There's no boss saying, hey, how come you haven't made your calls today, right? So the second step is acceptance. You have to believe it after you've seen it, right? So number one is to quit treating your feelings as good or bad. Have you ever had a call that didn't go well? And yeah, the call didn't go well, but then you also gave yourself a big dose of guilt or shame for it not going well. And now you're carrying around not only the feeling of the call, but also the guilt or shame about not being able to do something that you knew you probably could have done. That's an example of treating your feelings as good or bad, right? You judge yourself for having emotions, and you get another layer of emotions on top of that. And we don't need that in order to do what we need to do. So when you have an emotion, just say, I had a moment. That was a moment. It happened, right? Number two, this one is really important. You want to observe the ripple effect from your emotions. If you're having a rough day, maybe you had an argument with your spouse or your kid, or someone spilled coffee on you, right? And that moment spread out throughout your entire day. Now it's time to make calls, or it's time to do real estate, and you're just still fuming about what happened earlier. You need to realize that that's happening. A lot of times I see this on the phone when people are making calls, they have one bad call. And then the next 3 or 4 calls are also a lot rougher than they should be because they're still holding on to those emotions from that first call where maybe they were yelled at, or maybe they just weren't accepted or approved of, right? So observing the ripple effect and taking some time to do that. Next is number 3, lean into your discomfort. You do not have to be good at this to get a deal. That is the number one saving grace of cold calling. If you just get out there and do it, even though it doesn't feel good, you will find a lead. If you find enough leads, you'll find a deal, right? It's just a numbers game, and it's okay to do things that we're not comfortable doing. So step outside of that comfort zone and just pick up the phone, right? Just do it. Learn how to feel your emotions physically. That's number 4. This one is big for me. So right now I'm kind of nervous, right? Where do I feel that in my body? Probably right here. I feel like my chest is on fire, but everyone carries their emotions in a different place physically. Sometimes we know we have an emotion, and other times we just know that we have a feeling, right? Something in our body is feeling, right? Maybe it's stress in your shoulders. Maybe it's despair in your stomach, but knowing where your emotions live will help you to identify when you're having emotions in the thick of a busy thing, like being on a call, right? So identifying, oh, my stomach's hurting. I might be feeling a little sad, or oh, I'm grinding my teeth over here. I must be stressed. But putting those two together is really important when it comes to self-managing. Okay, we'll get into that. All right, number 5, this is a big one when you're on the phone. Know who and what pushes your buttons. We all have triggers, right? We all have things that really get under our skin when they're done. So figuring out what those are, and you're going to have plenty of chances of them on the phone. That is like the number one way to get triggered. If you have your triggers, right? You're on the phone and someone's going to do something that you don't like, and it's going to make you feel a certain way. You need to realize what that is and who it is, right? So that at least you're aware that, oh, yeah, that's why this one upset me so much, because yeah, this is an issue for me. And I know this is an issue for me, right? So these are the first 5. Let's look at the next 5. All righty. Number 6, watch yourself like a hawk. This goes very far into cold calling, but specifically you want to watch your KPIs, right? At the end of the day, go look and see, well, how many calls did I make? How many contacts did I make? You want to really know your numbers specifically about yourself. So this also has a meaning of, you know, how hawks fly above and they see everything from a bird's eye view. Don't get so thick in it like a chicken on the ground at the middle of everything. Try and go above what you're dealing with and look at it from a higher level, right? There is a lot to be seen when we remove ourselves from the actual situation and think of it objectively as if we were the supervisor of ourselves, right? If I was my own supervisor, what did I do well today and what did I not do well today? So that has a dual meaning. Watch yourself very closely and micromanage yourself, but also remember to rise above and look at it from a sky view as to what's going on. All right, number 7. This one's good, and I teach this in our call review sessions. All of our callers with our call center, they have a practice every day. At the end of the day, they pull some call recordings, and they're supposed to find out what worked, what didn't work, and what was the lesson. But in order to do that, they have to ask themselves this question: why do I do the things that I do? Right? And I can say personally, when I started doing this, both in my professional life and in my personal life, it totally changed the game for me. And I was able to say, oh, okay, that's why I act this way in this type of situation. And if you're having a hard time on the phone and you're just reacting, there's very likely something that you are doing that you need to figure out why, so that you can adjust that, right? And number 8, this one's good too. It's visit and revisit your values. So what do you stand for as a person, as a business? Who do you represent on the phone? Are you that person that gets really frustrated really easy and just flies off the handle and hangs up? Or are you literally there to provide a service, provide a value, not let the no's get you down, see them as an opening into getting a yes? And is that going to discourage you? So that's the other one that I just absolutely love. Number 9, you guys are all doing this right now. You want to seek feedback from uninvested parties, people who are not going to get paid based on what you do, right? So joining a group like this is very important to something like that. Get some third-party advice, right? And then number 10, this one is probably the most important one, but get to know yourself under stress. How do you react when you're stressed out, right? Because being on the call, being on a dialer, making calls, if you've never done that, is a highly stressful thing to do, especially the first few times, right? When it's brand new. So you need to know how you react under stress, right? Are you going to be more short-tempered? Are you going to require more frequent rest periods, right? What is it about you that you're going to need when you're under stress? And then cater to that, right? Because it's not that you want to avoid the stress, but you want to be able to perform your highest in spite of the stressful situation. So these are the 10 steps to self-awareness. We're going to go into self-management. They all kind of tie together at this point. But here's another quote here. So self-awareness won't stop you from making mistakes, but it will allow you to learn from them. So we're not trying to stop our behavior at this point. We're just trying to understand why it is we do the things that we do so that we can kind of unlock that process and relearn a new one, right? Because that's kind of what what's needed here. So let's look at self-management strategies. Number 1, and this to me is one of the most important, but breathe right? Before you get on the call, before you hit start calls, you need to have a few minutes where you just literally zone in to what it is that you're going to be working on, right? Because if you've still got your emails open over here, your texts over here, and Facebook on your phone, like it's just too much. And you need to be so dialed into the person on the other end of the phone that they can feel that from you. And you can't do that if you're not dialed in. And the number 1 way to get dialed into your own body is to stop and do some deep breathing exercises, right? And really get focused. I can't tell you how many times I will hear on call review sessions, someone is literally not breathing. They're either talking really fast or they're just like, you can hear it. And so going back to the basics, you need to breathe is very important, especially when you're on the phone and you're stressed out. So when in doubt, breathe it out, right? All right, number 2, making your goals public. That's another reason that groups like these are super powerful, is because you guys get to share what it is that you're working on, and having someone hold you accountable to that, even if it's a third party that's uninvested, is super important. So put it out there, get it out. I love to make my goals public because I'm going to hold myself to them a lot more, right? Number 3, sleep on it. All right. How many of you have had a bad day and you just decided, okay, I'm done. This isn't for me. Nope, I'm done. Like right then and there, right? Yeah, absolutely. So before you do something like that, sleep on it. And if you're anything like me, I take a little bit longer to process those big emotions. I need to sleep on it 2 nights, like straight up, no lie. I need 2 nights, right? I'll get back with you in 2 days and then I'll make a decision on this, because sometimes 1 night just isn't enough, right? Ladies, you guys, you know what I mean? They're big emotions. They take longer to process. Number 4, this is one of the most important ones, but to take control of your self-talk. There's a little voice in all of our heads while we're doing new things that says, nah, this ain't for you. You're not going to be good at this. Don't even try. I don't know why you do this, right? Doesn't matter. That's not our voice, right? That is not from us. We are actually high performers, gods and goddesses, right? We are here to do amazing things. And so we have to learn how to control that voice, because it will control us if we do not. So one of my favorite exercises, and this is how I learned how to do this, was to give that voice a weird name, like either a really funny name or like a really like Agnes, like old name, just like super annoying. And every time you hear those voices come up and they're like, you're not going to be good at this, don't even try, do something else instead, start calling that voice out and be like, okay, Agnes, I hear what you're saying, but I'm busy. I got contracts to make, right? I got calls to make. I'm going to be good at this. that is such a powerful, powerful tool for anyone who struggles with self-talk. Like, give it a name and start talking to it, because it's not you. And for so many of us, we believe that it is us and that we technically cannot do the things that we want to do. And that's just a lie. All right, number 5. You hear this in almost every coaching thing, but smile and laugh more. But it really is important. Cold calling is not, it's stressful, right? Even if we're good at it, even if people like us and we're good on the and they like talking to us, even if we like talking on the phone, it is still a stressful thing. And so taking a break, right? Take a break every 45 minutes, watch a funny video, laugh about something, and just learn how to disconnect, because being able to disconnect and it turns off that cortisol. And the cortisol is a stress hormone that puts us in fight or flight, that makes it really hard for us to make good decisions. So finding a way to turn that off by smiling and laughing. There's lots of other ways, but that's one of my favorite ones, right? Have some funny YouTube videos close by that you can unwind when you need to unwind, because you need to be in a certain state of mind to be good on the phone, right? If you're angry over something, or if you're upset about something or stressed over something, it's going to be really hard for you to focus on what you're doing. So managing your stress, smiling and laughing more is a great way to do that. All right, before I skip over here, we're going to look at this quote by Dr. Prem Jagyasi. Self-management, therefore, is all about becoming your own leader by training your mental, physical, social, and intellectual faculties in different ways. And that is literally what it takes to be a good entrepreneur, right? And we're all in our own ways entrepreneurs trying to grow our own real estate business. So taking control and leading ourselves is really the best way to manage this. All righty, next slide is the last slide on self-management strategies. I just sped through this, but this one was most important. Number 6, visualize yourself succeeding. While you're doing those deep breathing exercises, stop and put a mental picture of yourself having a great conversation with someone, agreeing to a follow-up call, getting all of the information that's needed right then and there, right? Agreeing to that price. Or maybe you want to take it another step further. Picture yourself at the closing table, signing contracts, or maybe you want to take it even further. Picture yourself with that big fat check in your hand on the way to go buy whatever it is that you need to buy, right? But taking some actual time out of your day to do that is really important. I will tell you, the first time I ever did this, I was taking a wholesaling course, and it was one of the first exercises they had us do was to visualize your perfect day and, write it all out and visualize it, and spend 5 minutes a day just meditating on that perfect day down to the detail. What are you wearing? What does it smell like? What are you eating? What are you drinking, right? Get all the details. Who's with you? What are you guys talking about? And write that out. I will tell you, I did it. And then 6 months later, after putting that exercise together, I lived it, right? And I at the end of the day, I stopped and I was like, oh my God, I just had my most perfect day. Like I'm doing something right, right? And so if you believe it, it will come true. And I don't know why it is, but it happens in the mind first, and then the rest of the body kind of follows. So this one is super important when you're just getting started, right? All right, number 7, create a healthy sleep routine. Just like babies, the first thing that they ever learn is how to sleep through the night. As professionals trying to grow a business from the ground up, the first thing we need to have dialed in is our sleep routine. I know it sounds basic and I might be preaching to the choir here, but I'm a single mom of 3, and I can absolutely guarantee you that before they all started sleeping through the night and were potty trained, I was a completely different person, right? Now that I have a healthy sleep routine, it's like, oh, I'm a full adult now. Wow, what is this like? And the same goes for every other adult. Sometimes we have to go back to the basics, because we can't expect ourselves to perform well if we're not sleeping. We just simply don't have the brain power to do it, right? All right, number 8. This is all about your mindset. We're all going to have challenges. If we focus on those, we are always going to be going uphill, always, in our business, in our life in general. Focus on the opportunities. Even challenges can be framed as opportunities for improvement. Make that one of your core words in your vocabulary and watch how opportunities start arising everywhere. It really is that simple. All right. Number 9, check in often and then stay synchronized, stay in sync with yourself. So daily, and this is how I teach my team. At the end of the day, they're going to pull some calls that they had. They could be good calls, they could be bad calls, but they need to be, a certain time frame. And in the beginning of the next day, they're going to listen to those calls. That's them checking in often. And as far as staying in sync, they're going to look at their KPIs. They're going to make sure, okay, cool. Same number of calls or similar number of calls, similar number of contacts, similar number of leads. I'm in sync with where I need to be. So that way they know if they fall off, something changed. And when did it change? And where did it change? So I can go back and retrace my steps and fix that, right? For us as professionals, what are you doing on a daily basis that is the same, right? Try and create some systems for yourself so that you can stay in sync. All right, number 10, this one's probably my favorite because it involves relaxation, but you want to schedule out your rest and refresh times. And then this is probably the hardest. You have to stick to the schedule. Your body, it responds in a certain way. If you have something on the schedule, Saturday, I'm going to go play with my kids, right? We're going to go all afternoon. And then you don't let it happen, right? You're teaching yourself that you're not worth the rest and refresh time. And that's not the case, right? In order for us to be able to pour into our business continuously, consistently, and at a high volume, we have to make sure that our cups are not just full, but overflowing, because it's the overflow that goes into our business, right? So do not overwork yourself until and ignore those rest and refresh times. Put them in your calendar and stick to them. It doesn't have to be long, right? I have 6 hours on Saturdays that I try and put to my kids. I know it's just 6 hours in the total of a week, but it matters, right? It matters. My kids know, I know Saturdays afternoon are for us. All right. Now, this quote here is one's greatest challenge is to control oneself. And I used to believe that was the other way around. One's greatest challenge is to control your spouse, right? Or whatever the situation is, but it's actually so much harder, but also much more rewarding to control yourself. So to be a good micromanager, you have to be self-aware. You have to be self-managed. You can't be afraid of challenges, right? So the next one I have here is all about failing forward, as Dorina put it. Let me check out our comments here and see. I might have missed some. Yes. Self-reflection and awareness. Agreed. Absolutely. Good point. So self-talk, using it to your advantage. Absolutely. I do this all the time. We have our affirmations that we use, correct? If I have a VA that's struggling, a virtual assistant that's struggling with confidence, you can hear it. It's so sad. You can hear it in their voice. We give them some affirmations. I can easily connect with people and determine what is needed. I have great conversations on the phone, right? But putting that into an affirmation and then spending 3 minutes before you get on the call or after a rough call, just literally slowing down and focusing on that, and then picking the call back up and getting back to it is absolutely super powerful. Yes. Head trash, take out the garbage. Well, I love that. I've never thought about that. Yes.
I want to just add to that one point, piggyback on that. Like
Sure.
I'm standing right now. You can raise your energy level, your confidence level, literally by just standing up, doing your calls. When you walk around, it gives you like more confidence. It helps you project your voice better. And that that comes off. It's the same thing with the smiling and you know, talking with a smile in your face, a smile in your voice. People can pick that up, and it's easier to do when you put yourself in that like physical space too.
Absolutely. I love that. And the example that I give for smiling more is, you know, say you're going to a flea market and you see something really cool that you like, but the price is like ridiculous. And you're like, so what are you going to do? Are you going to go up to that shopkeeper and be like, yo, man, why is the price so high on this? Right? Like with an ugly look on your face? Or are you going to go like, I love your store. This is a great place. I found this awesome piece, but I just was wondering, is this the right price for this? You know, with a big old smile on your face, chances are they're going to negotiate with you a lot easier because they can hear that you're happy with them, you're pleased with them, and you want to find an agreement that works for both of you, right? So totally agree on that one. So this is my 5-step plan for how to get through failure like a pro, because all of us are ingrained, I would say guys especially, but also girls, that failure is bad, right? Think about it from the time we go to school, we're given grades. An F is a failure. So we are conditioned, don't you take home an F. Mama sees that F, you're going to get in big trouble, right? So we're determined to avoid failure at all costs. However, the biggest lessons, if you can get through the emotional turmoil of failure, happen at the other side of failure, right? Right on the other side. But so many of us refuse to go there because we simply can't get through the process. So when it comes to cold calling, you're going to fail. You're going to fail so hard that it doesn't even hurt anymore, that you're okay with failing because you know, after so many failures, you're going to get a win and it's okay, right? But you have to condition yourself to be able to push through. So these are the 5 steps. First one is disbelief, right? The first thing we go through is, oh man, I cannot believe that just happened. And I'll tell you, those of us that are, quote, loyal to a fault, they never make it past this step. They will not admit that they failed because they are loyal. That is their benefit, right? But you got to sometimes know when enough is enough. And so getting past this first step is really important. You need to say it out loud, say it to another person, write it down, whatever it takes. You have to understand when you believed that, or you have to believe that it happened. That's really why it's important to start keeping KPIs on things, right? So that you can see, okay, objectively looking at the statistics, this is a failure. It's not a success, and that's okay, right? So step 1 is believe it happened and put it out into the universe. That's the number one way for it to come back and be like, okay, yeah, this happened. Now, step 2, anger. This is normal. This is to be expected, but go on and get mad, right? If you're anything like me, you got to set a timer for 5 minutes because otherwise you will be mad for the rest of the day. But if it's not going to matter in 5 years, whatever it was that you failed at that you're mad about, then give yourself 5 minutes. Get mad as you need to. Go yell, go scream, whatever it takes, but then sit down and get to the rest of this process. Now, step 3, this is hard. You have to accept responsibility for your role. Sometimes failure is not our fault. Sometimes it is maybe our fault for trusting or believing in something that we shouldn't have, or not having good boundaries around something, but it's not 100% our fault. However, there is always some fault that is our own, and we have to be able to accept it. Go on and make a list of the things that you did that led up to this failure, right? That's okay. You're going to have that list. And then step 4 is despair. You're going to get depressed about it because now you have this long list of all your faults, of all the things that you did wrong. And I'm sorry, but that's a little depressing, right? I'm sorry. I didn't do this well. I didn't do this well. I didn't do this well. I'm the reason I failed. It's a little depressing. So just know if you've made it to the depression stage, you are almost done with this process. So keep moving. All right. Now from step 4, you're going to list out the lessons that you learned, right? What did you learn from this? Don't trust people so easily. Vet your business partners better than you vet your romantic partners, right? Like whatever the lesson is, you need to write out those lessons. And from there, you go to step 5. And that's the last step. It's to make a plan. Now, once you have the lessons that you learned, those don't naturally equate how you're going to avoid that in the future, how you're going to plan for that in the future. So what you can do is take that list of lessons and say, okay, next time I'm going to fill in the blank, XYZ. How are we going to do this, right? I had a scary situation yesterday. We were at the beach. My 6-year-old wandered off. We could not find her. I called the cops. We were looking everywhere. It like literally almost gave me a heart attack. But very soon, she was a few cars down at the beach. We found her. And after we went through all these steps, we skipped the anger. I wasn't angry. I was just relieved. We made a plan, right? Baby girl, we're always on this side of the beach. If ever you get turned around, you walk away from the sun, right? She didn't understand where the boundaries were. That's how she got turned around. Moving forward, your boundaries are from this car to this car. My car's in the middle. That's your boundaries. You can't go past that, right? And so we made a plan from that major failure so that we could avoid it moving forward, right? So it's no longer an issue. But you can't get to that step if you can't believe that it happened, get through that anger, find out what your part of it, take responsibility for it, get through the depression that's natural. If you can't get through those steps, you can't make the plan to fix it for moving forward, right? And then number 6, it's not in here, but go try again, right? Don't let failure stop you. Once you've made it through the list and you've got a plan on how to avoid it again, go do it again, go fail again. So that was my presentation. I absolutely love to fail now. I fail as fast as I can, fail as hard as I can, and fail as often as I can so that I can learn from it and move forward, right? All right, so here's my information, you guys. If you want to set up a free consult, you are more than welcome. The link is right there. You can find me on Facebook, Get With Elizabeth, Get With Kevin. I've got a Facebook group. You guys are welcome to join as well. And yeah, let me stop my share. All right. Anybody have any questions or experiences or anything that you want to share about what we talked about? Feel free.
Well, I want to share an experience, and I want to tell you guys all probably the worst experience I've had since starting wholesaling and really trying to tweak some things, right? Like trying to get a handle on things and not just freely smash the phones, right? Because that was never a problem for me, as you guys noticed, right? Like I'll call the Pope if he's selling the Vatican. You know what I mean? I really don't care. But it was one of the worst experiences when I teamed up with Amber. Not in a bad way, right? Like it was just like, Kev, what are you doing here, dude? Like, Kev, no, let's try this. Or Kev, yeah, you really thought it was going to be this easy, right, Kev? Like, no, you really gotta like treat them literally like we're training my VA now and other VAs as well. And it's been like an awakening of some sorts, right? But it's a good thing, because there are a lot of these little nuances that do make a huge difference. But at the same time, I had to tap into someone else with more skills. That's the hands down truth, right? And it sucks coming from me, right? I'm a high D. I still struggle with my ego quite more often than what I would like to admit. So it was definitely a shitty experience, but it's better, definitely better. So if you guys do, like, I definitely recommend reaching out to Amber, even if it's not even just to really just touch base with her, even just to talk to her. It's just a really good breath of fresh air, especially when it comes to this highly stressful cold calling, right? For me, it's not as stressful as others, but I totally understand like the fear and right. It's not the easiest thing to overcome, but it's so possible. and people like Amber can make it. Don't get me wrong, it's gonna suck, but it's for the best. So thanks, Amber, and always welcome here. And again, Liz, get in touch with her again. Great stuff. Thank you. I appreciate you, Amber.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. I love working with your team. Absolutely. Absolutely. And all lessons are hard lessons when you learn them the first time, right? It's when you have to keep learning that lesson that you're like, oh man, I already knew that. Why am I doing that again? Right. And then it starts to make sense. But the first time is supposed to be hard. That's what it's there for. So you guys are making some great progress though. I love where we're going with your team.
And guys, take advantage, right? You can ask Amber a couple of questions. If you guys are even thinking about VA, like Amber, what would be a good time, right? That you would say that someone really tries to utilize a VA? Is there a set time? Because that's a topic too that people can kind of take and run with, right? That's like a huge topic in a lot of our pages and our groups, right? Like, when do you officially get a VA? So yeah. just your take on it would be cool to share with the group.
So I think it would depend on what kind of duties you're having them do. I'm going to assume we're looking at like a prospector, a cold caller, or a cold texter. And then again, you got to look at your goals, your budget. I do like to take each client at a case-by-case situation. If you're not ready for a virtual assistant, I'll consult with you until you are, right? We'll get you to where you need to be. If you have a marketing budget and a CRM and you've closed a deal before and you understand what it takes, it takes a certain number of contacts, or it takes a certain number of records to get a certain number of dials, to get a certain number of contacts and leads to contracts and all of that. If you have a good understanding of that process, you might be ready for a virtual assistant. But until you've done it for yourself and you've mapped out, at least in your mind, what the process needs to be, from where you get your data to where you send your contract when it's ready for escrow, you need to figure out those processes, right? It's really hard to hold someone accountable to something that you have not yet clearly defined. And so I will tell you, a lot of what I do when I'm consulting with people that are getting ready to hire a virtual assistant is we're setting up processes, we're setting up systems, we're making definitions for things that weren't defined clearly, so that when you do get a virtual assistant, it's literally plug and play. There's no questions as to what they need to be doing because it is all clearly defined, right? So
that's a pretty badass answer. Love it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So, because some people will be like, 5 deals, make sure you do your deals. So many calls by yourself, right? But man, I'm a big component of do what's going to make you continue to do this, right? Because this can really get draining, right? Like it can get, and there's a lot of peaks and valleys, guys. That's a fact. And if kind of like sharing those duties, if it's budgeted, right? Obviously, there are costs to hire VAs and hire, consultants like Amber. But I'll tell you right now, it's not anything that you guys are thinking you're gonna break the bank over, right? I think we're all on a great. That's why I like these communities. And Amber, you brought it up earlier, right? Like getting into these communities, I really believe like we're all at a pretty close like scale. Right? We're at a level where we're all trying to grow, and hopefully in the next 5-10 years, you know what I mean, we'll be unaffordable, and we'll be bringing up others as well at the same time. But I think we can all grow together, and we can still catch quite a bit of our resources within the community at a great bargain. So
absolutely.
So reach out, guys. And I'm not going to tell you how many calls you should make or how many deals you should have before you even hire a VA. I'm going to tell you, like, do whatever it takes to make you keep going.
Yeah, I have to agree. I was going to say, I'm one of those late adopters where I feel like I need to have all those systems in place, and I'm not there yet. But I also realize at the same time, I'm my own cog in my wheel, right? The business stops when I can't, make that set of calls or pull those lists I know I need to pull, you know? So having somebody, you know, to keep that system, that machine going is very vital.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's important when you're in a business that you're running yourself, that one of the first things that you do is make it to where if you need to step away, you can step away, right? A business is great, but we're all doing this to have freedom, time freedom, so that we can spend more time where we are most valuable. And I'll tell you what, for very few of us, is that actually on the phone doing cold calls, right?
And Amber, real quick, I'll ask you another question. We'll get into it. How important is it to really even like track KPIs? Let's just say, I don't know, I got about 2 to 3 lists, you know, I don't got the crazy amount of data, but either way, where would you put that at a, you know, 1 to 10, where you're actually running a campaign organically? Is it even important to hold KPIs?
I'll tell you, if you have not got your first deal yet, you're going to throw those KPIs away anyway. But you still want to track them, because it's the practice of tracking them that is important. Maybe these aren't the KPIs that you're going to grow your business to $1 million with if you haven't got your first deal, but they are going to be important to knowing when you're slacking off. And when you're trying to get your first deal, you are your own worst enemy. The consistency is key. And if you refuse to track those KPIs, you refuse to take an objective look at yourself, you can't be self-aware or self-managed if you don't have any data to look at. Right. So tracking them is ultimately really, really, really important at all stages of the deal. But are you going to use those KPIs more strategically once you close your first deal and you're setting up your systems? Yes, but you should start tracking them immediately so that you can see when you had a good day or you had a bad day, or maybe you had an emotional day and it felt like a bad day, but looking at your numbers, this was actually a good day, right? And that is a little relieving. At the end of the day, I'm going to feel better because yeah, I didn't feel great today, but I got 3 leads, right? And so knowing that and being objective about your own performance is going to make it much easier for you to then in turn manage a virtual assistant when it's time, or have someone like me manage them.
So I'm going to dive a little deeper with that too as well. One thing with me, right, I've always thought of maybe marketing dollars being an expense. Lately, again, I'm trying to reframe my mind, and literally those marketing dollars are an investment, and KPIs helps me track that investment and those investment dollars that are going in to my data lists, into my skip tracing, right? And the overall quality of the machine. So again, right? Yeah, I love it. Totally. Like, it's great to feel good about how many calls you made throughout the day. But ultimately, you know, what I like it is just, you know, I got at least a finger on my investment. You know,
Yeah.
Obviously it's not foolproof, right? It's not, right? Very low percentage rates, right, guys? We're talking about combing lists of thousands. Okay, we're not going to get in here and you're going to think you're going to get 15-20% contact rate day one or year one. You know, I don't even know if those numbers really exist. I'd have to really, you know, ask someone that's really getting those type of high contact rates.
Absolutely.
But
It's
at least
all a
I
work in
know that I'm
progress.
making the contact, right? Like, I won't know unless I'm tracking.
Right. The way I see the sales funnel, right? And that's really what we're doing. We're creating a sales funnel, leads at the top. We're going to work them in the middle, and hopefully down at the bottom, we get some money coming in, right? But you have to treat it like a system. I have 10 years of nursing experience. I was a nurse before I got into real estate. And so I make the connection as, you know, it's kind of like a human body. You got to go in. There's certain organs that are good, that are more likely to go bad, right? And so you have to kind of do a head to toe assessment from where do you get your data? Where are you skip tracing it? What marketing strategy are you using? What settings inside of those marketing strategies are you using? What is your messaging like? What is your follow-up like? And all of those pain points to really treat it as a fully functioning system that, yeah, maybe, you know, your arm's broken, but your heart's good, right? And see it for what it is and make adjustments as needed so that you can get to optimal health and optimal wellness, right? That's our goal for all of these. So if you treat it like a system that it is, each part of the system can go and might go bad, but you treat it accordingly. You'll see, you know, maybe it's 1% at a time, but improvements that over time will produce revenue. And that's really what it boils down to. We want this to be a self-sustaining system, right? That's what all of us are looking for when it comes to marketing, but it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes a lot of little 1% tweaks to get it there, right? And if you don't have an expert to call on, reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you find your pain points. We'll do a head to toe assessment and we'll find out where your weakest links are.
So pretty much you just get smashed, right? Get smashed, tossed around, dragged through the mud a little bit, right? But man,
Kevin,
you'll feel a lot better.
This is the thing you got to think about. Whatever list you're starting with, just have two points of criteria before you take it off your list. What? One, did it sell? Was there a transaction, whether it was you or somebody else, did it ever sell? Or two, did they ask you to put them on their DNC list? Those are the two basic things. I'm seeing success. It's a totally different industry, but it's a sales process where it's new business development. It's cold outreach, cold calling,
Organic
emails, or whatever. Exactly. And a year into the business now, I'm seeing things pop. So you're going to see the same things with your lead list, and just don't give up on it. Figure out, it's a puzzle. Figure out, like what Amber was saying, what are those 1% changes or tweaks or adjustments that is either in yourself or in your marketing, or again, delegating or handing off to an expert.
Mm-hmm. Right. Is it necessary, right? Is it necessary that you get a VA? Is it necessary that you have a CRM? Is it necessary that you get a dialer, right? No, like it doesn't really take those things to do it. But eventually, right, you close one deal and you can maybe invest in yourself and in your systems. You close two deals and it just gets better from there.
Yeah.
And like what Liz was just saying now, where literally just a conversation, even the people that are like, yeah, 400,000, they're still going to go on my seller's lead in my CRM. And it just turns into 170, right now it's about 170 seller leads that we've had at least a conversation. They're going to go into a direct mail campaign.
Well, this is the thing. You haven't built that trust. You haven't shown yourself as an industry expert. And it's like, well, what's in it? Especially if you're calling a high equity list, there's like really no motivation, can be, it's an easy way to transact. But if you can find out what else about their situation would make them become, or figure out which ones are that motivated, that's where you find the success.
Absolutely. This is a relationship business. And sometimes people don't jump into relationships. Does that mean we don't want them in our pipeline? Absolutely not. In fact, the best leads are ones that we have nurtured over time, because you know what we get? We get referrals from those. We get a lifetime of referrals from those because they've known us for 2 years. We helped them out of XYZ situation. And now they will always know of us as the ones who can come through in a pinch when they can't sell their house with a realtor, right?
Exactly.
So,
that's one of the things I like too, reversing it. You get that first objection, that first phone call. Hey, I don't work with so-and-so. It's like, okay, I understand. That's what all the other X amount of owners who sold to me, that's exactly what they told me.
But
we
guys,
just built it over time.
I can't create content on this, a boring organic, right? How am I going to create content on that stuff, right? How can I show off some checks on my Facebook newsfeed if I'm just organically, right? And that's unfortunate. That's what society, and that's what we've tried to build. But man, just don't quit. Keep plugging. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like the satisfaction just isn't there right away, right? We think like we're going to be this amazing wholesalers or these amazing real estate investors. But as she says, it takes a lot of grooming. It's a relationship business, right? This is nothing that is going to be built tomorrow. So the instant gratification of me being able to post those checks and, get into those conversations like that, it's really not. It happens. Don't get me wrong. Like there are quite a bit of it, but it's very, very slim, very rare. Or we got a couple of deals. Lucky first off rip, but it takes that grind, right? That perseverance, and that continuously consistency in building these systems that Amber allows us to create, and we can tap into her pretty much anytime within the community, right? You guys can link up with her. She has her own page too. Create some great content within her own group page, and it's pretty awesome. The other day, right? Quick story. I threw out in, I think it was the whole super wholesalers or whatever it was, right? Like I threw out a comment, right? And then she reaches out to me, and lo and behold, I had about like 2 or 3 other girls like commenting, and she was like, "Oh, those are my VAs." So literally, like within the group, right? You will not only see Amber, but you will see her VAs as well, already reaching out and looking to help other wholesalers within the communities all over social networks. So
Absolutely.
kudos to you with that too. Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I trained them to be my social media managers. And so they'll log into my account, they'll look for people that need help, and they'll comment, something pretty vague and generic as me. Hey, we can help with that. Here's the link to talk more. And so, yeah, I'm absolutely seeing a lot of response from that. And it works in all different ways, right? Say you're trying to grow your cash buyers list. You can get a virtual assistant to help with that, right? They can go and scrub the Facebooks
100
and find those cash buyers for you. There's a lot of different ways they can help, but absolutely. One of my favorite things to do is to take a virtual assistant that came to me with one specialty, but a little bit of experience in something else. And maybe they kind of like to do something else, and then give that to them.
Yeah.
Let them grow and develop into their own professional, because that's what happened with me. That's what I was given the opportunity to do. And that's part of what got me to where I am, right? So don't be afraid to take them out of the box that they were hired for, and give them some extra opportunities, because that is where the real magic happens, right? Where you step outside of your comfort zone. So yeah, I love my virtual assistants for that. And I also give them a bonus, right? If they get anybody signed on, they get a commission check as well. So they're happy to help as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Anybody have any questions about virtual assistants
instead
or
of
anything
us
like
just
that?
smashing Amber, literally.
We good?
I think we're good. I think we're good.
Okay. I hear y'all are going to do some cold calling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. Do you care if I sit around and watch?
No, stay as long as you want. That's
All right,
great.
cool. I'm excited.
So here I am, right, with some more excuses how I can't make calls tonight. Changing passwords. I'm still using, right? I have that one VA, and I use that one seat. So we kind of changed some passwords throughout, and sometimes my computer acts funny, right? Because obviously, right, she's using a seat of mine in the Philippines. So at times, I gotta do some tricks in here to be incognito. So you know what I mean? Because it logs in with IP addresses. So I've been trying to get a hold of my team manager RV, but I haven't been as successful. But again, right? These are the tweaks, right? These are the little tweaks. But I really wanna get you guys motivated as well, right? Like if you guys have any lists that you might be working on, any questions why you're not getting on the phones, any questions why you want to get on the phone, right? Like why would you even want to start this wholesaling business? Like this shit's for the birds, dude. I don't even know why you guys come hang with us every Monday, but I don't know, it is what it is. I'd like to hear that too. But at the same time, I know Liz is always, looking and helping Amber and myself. So if you guys want a couple minutes, maybe before Liz takes over, but I'd really like to see someone else in the realm.
Yeah. Does anybody else want to try making some live cold calls tonight?
So I promise I will get these niches fixed, right? I know the last time I actually played some recordings of pre-Amber. Right. I don't know if you guys remember, I played some recordings while you weren't here, Amber. I played some pre-Amber, and then I played post-Amber. And guys, if I played post-Amber, Like it's fucking day and night. You know what I mean? But it's getting to a point now, right, where it's like she's having great conversations. Awesome. But then it's just, now it's the disposition part. Now it's the, okay, is this guy really do I throw this guy in the CRM or don't I? So those are better solutions to solve. That's what I look at it, right? Those are better solutions
Absolutely.
to solve, because at first it was very, very vague.
You got to have the leads, right? If you don't have the leads, you don't even know where the rest of the holes in your sales funnel are. But step one is getting the rest of the holes. And then step 3 is actually legitimately filling that pipeline and getting the juice out at the bottom. That's
Right.
the good stuff. So
Amber,
absolutely.
can you see the chat? You got a question there. Can you see the chat or no?
Awesome. Hilaire says, how can I get the right VA? Steps, please. Well, the easiest way is to reach out to me. I have an entire hiring process. I can help you with it. But if you need to find a virtual assistant on your own and you're trying to keep it budget friendly, I would, not all of them, but I would warn you against most of the ones that come and find you and be like, I can be your VA. Their business model is more of a churn and burn. They don't necessarily promise to, or they don't necessarily deliver on their promises. They have a high turnover rate on clients, right? So those probably aren't going to be your best bet. Now, what you can do, the biggest thing I could teach you is to set up an HR process that vets them for you before you even interview them. Your application needs to be complex, right? Needs to include basic information. Can they follow instructions? Phone number, email address, right? Basics. Can they, sorry, someone knocked on my door. Come again? You got it, kiddo? Okay, sorry, someone knocked on my door. You want to see their resume. I also have them upload a disc assessment. I also have them upload a voice recording, and for bonus steps, they send me a video of themselves answering a few questions, right? It changes per each role. Why do you want this job? Why do you think you'd be a good fit for it? And tell me something you've learned, right? So I get to see how they perform under pressure. And to me, they don't have to be great to be good at the video, because that is really a hard thing to do. So even a decent video is going to get an interview for me. But if I can see that their disc assessment means they're not very social, right? They're more analytic. The video is just awful. The voice recording doesn't speak great English. I'm not even going to bother with an interview. Send them another email. So I let my HR process do the heavy lifting. Now, from the interview, a lot more happens there. That's the other 50% that's really important. We're going to do systems checks first. Do they have good internet, backup internet, good power, backup power? When you're working with the virtual assistants, that is the number one thing that you have to realize. They do not have the same type of power grid and internet access that we do here. So making sure that they, as professionals, have backups for that. I even go as far as to saying, what kind of computer do you have? Like, what type of Windows do you have? Do you have a backup computer if needed? I've had several VAs. It's like, oh, my laptop dropped. Sorry, I can't come to work today. Right. So we need, as professionals, to make sure that they have backup plans. I always do, at the end of the interview, if they've done pretty decently, a role play session, and it's spur of the moment. I don't let them know it's about to happen. And I do this because that's hard. They're going to fail. You know how I taught you guys how to fail? I want to see how well they fail. Right? So I don't do this for VAs that I'm pretty sure I'm not going to hire. I don't think it's nice, because I'm not going to hire them. I'm not going to put them through this extra step. But if I feel pretty positive that this is someone I would like to endorse to a client one day, someone I will pay to train for 2 weeks, which is quite an expense on my side, I will go on and take it to that next level. All right, we're going to do a role play session. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to look at this script, and then we're going to go. All right, 3 minutes. Set the timer and go on mute and turn my camera off. They freak out, right? As well they should. But how do they perform under stress? That is another thing that you need to test right away. And this is another one of those. If they do decent, they pass, right? Because that's a very hard thing to do. Some of them fall apart. They literally can't get 2 words out. I might not hire them, even if I really like them, because it's really important for me. I sometimes, if I really like them and they really failed, will give them a second shot on another day, but I don't let them study the script. It's the exact same exercise as before. They get 3 minutes and here we go again. And it's not with me, it's with someone else, right? Because I don't have time for that. But you have to set up your HR system to do the heavy lifting for you. And in the interview, you need to go over these certain things.
Yeah.
Systems check. I also like to get them talking about their family or anything like outside of work. A lot of them have memorized what work experience they have, right? And you can almost tell it's a script they follow. Tell me about what your hobbies are. Tell me about your family. What kind of pet do you have, right? Talk to me about something outside of work so that I can see how conversational you are. It's one thing to learn a script and be able to follow a script. It's another thing to be able to have a conversation in English as a second language that flows without a script, right? So that's the other thing I check.
So if you guys didn't know before, right, this is the reason why I work with Amber, right? Very detail oriented, getting into those niches, right? Those nooks and crannies within your system. If I had to give you just 1 step, not even 3 steps, consult with Amber before you do anything. She'll go into your systems. She'll, you know what I mean? She'll rock your world in there. And then from there, you guys can figure it out there. You know, maybe you're not ready for a VA, you know, and then you can kind of just work on yourself a little more or continue to hang out with us on Monday nights. I'm sure we can help you a little bit. But I would. And if you notice, right, like she's really getting into the nuances of training someone from overseas. Like she's got this personality thing with these VAs from overseas. She really knows like their cultural differences, right? She knows how they live, where they live. She really gets into it. She has some great relationships with her VAs, and that's what it takes, guys. This isn't again, right? You're running a business almost, right? It's just I know we make it sound like it's plug and play virtual, right? No, listen, there's a lot of nuances when it comes, you know, especially after I started consulting with Amber quite a bit. And we consult every week, guys. Like I sit with Amber every Friday. We sit, we go over our recordings of our calls, how we doing, how we're not doing. So it's a process, you know. I want to get better at it, right? You got to want to do it. You know what I mean? So ultimately, if I had to give you 1 step, is reach out to Amber, guys. You know, she consults. That was one thing that separated her from quite a bit of the people that are offering the same products. And the consulting is just, it's second level. Worst case scenario, you'll find out if you're ready for one or not.
Yeah. And I have this thing, if you're not ready for a virtual assistant, I don't want to put you with one because I want to come back and get your testimony about how awesome you're doing. I don't want to have a low retention rate for my clients. I want you to be ready to go. And here's the thing, I'll consult with you until you are ready, because I don't have a problem doing that, right? Like we'll get you there, whether you're starting on step 1 or you're already on step 5, I can bring you to that next level when you're ready.
Badass. Love it. Anything else, guys? Who's calling? We'll get it done, man. We'll get it done. So like she had just stated, right? Like performance wise, right? When it comes, and I'm going to be totally honest with you. Once I started working with Amber, right? Performance wise, right? If it depends on what you kind of put yourself at success ladder, right? If you want to talk about closings and deals and checks, no, I haven't, you know, really taken advantage of that since I've been working with Amber. But dude, just the funnel has gotten way tighter. The trainings that the VA has been getting, and from here on out, right? Like my VA could quit tomorrow, and guess what? We can fill it right in, right? Amber's got these great training modules that I invested with Amber as well, where literally the next VA, don't get me wrong, I don't want to lose my VA, but it happens, right? Like they'll quit on you and you'll have no reason. They're in the other side of the world. So ultimately, that's what I ended up, right? I didn't get as many closings I didn't, we didn't go to that far, but my systems are like day and night compared to what I was doing, and it's weird, right? Like, I got my closings in the beginning stages, right? Like, oh yeah, have no clue, got a couple, and then now it's like, wait a second, like this can't work like this forever. Like, let's try and fine tune this stuff. It took a lot, right? Some other things maybe went to the back seat, but man, the future of it is just so bright. And I thank Amber for that as well. So first step, guys, reach out. Get in touch with her. If you guys can't find her, let me know. If you can't find me, Liz, know. But I think we're pretty available throughout all the time. We'll always catch each other on the same freaking groups too. That's what's the best.
Yeah.
Stuff. Like we'll be on the same news feeds of other people's groups and shit. Like it's pretty cool. But so get on there, right? I know, Amber, throw your group Facebook group link in there. I know Liz.
Yeah, I put it earlier, but yeah.
Oh,
Go
it's
ahead
on
and
there.
Throw it in there. Yeah.
And so before we do go, right, I know we'll probably say it again. Download the chat. You'll have all that information there. So
Absolutely. And here is the link to book a free consult with me. We get 30 minutes, figure out where you're at, what you need.
badass.
I offer lots of different services.
So I would suggest get your shit together though, like put it all out, like take advantage of that half hour, okay? Because it's like, man, we're all here for a service, right? We're all trying to provide each other with, but at the same time, Amber's dedicated. We've all dedicated quite a bit of time and hours within our systems, and obviously, it costs, guys. So I would really suggest, hey, right, get your stuff ready, bang, like, hey, Amber, I use this, or Amber, I'm not using this, or Amber, what do you suggest here? Get yourself prepared before you do sit with her. Take advantage of it. Good stuff.
Yep. So
thank you so much, Amber, for that valuable training
badass.
and sharing your time with us. And yeah, like I said, feel free to stay as long as you want. And so this, I can go ahead and share my screen, and I'll leave it up to the audience. Where do you guys want me to call? We got options of Florida, Massachusetts, or Rhode Island.
Go to Rhode Island.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys.
Rhode Island. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It's the first time.
I seen you, Ken. I seen it over there. I seen the mention on the chat.
To the predictive dialer.
Can you guys hear that? Did I share my? I know. It's Mike Shine's preferred list, but there's a little bit of a mix in there. So I am updating my systems, how I kind of go to market. But I've got 2,000 leads in there, so that should be good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Call them.
I don't know if you guys noticed.
He's the other buyer. So
yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed throughout the community, right? Ken and Mike Shine work pretty exclusively together when it comes to acquiring real estate. But it's not only, right? Ken.
Please leave your message for
Ken's even reached out to me like, hey, dude, like I'm buying. Like, let me know.
529-661.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units, METROUNITS.com. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property in Rhode Island. If you're open to offers, call or text 857-600-2370. All right, I already messed up.
Love it.
Oh, it's a Massachusetts. Well, yes. I don't know. It should be a separate list, but obviously that one was Massachusetts and I said Rhode Island. So they're gonna be like, what the heck are you doing? It's okay. They're all it should be, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I did.
So
maybe that should be part of your strategy, because then they'll call you back and be like,
oh my gosh, you guys. I think I've mentioned this before, but I am this close. So I live in a multifamily. I'm on the 3rd floor, and literally the next building over has had the stupid fire alarm chirp going off literally for over a year. And I called the code violation people. They said, okay, well, we're a little busy, so go. It's the health department. They're going to take care of it. So this is like 2 weeks ago. So I called them back again, and she was like, oh, well, it didn't match our property records, because she looked at the assessor, and I was like, no, you got to check mass land records. It's it was just bought. And then I'm thinking, well, wait a second, they have to have smoke checks at time of exchange, right? Like, so something didn't happen, right, or whatever. But
yeah, you got to get a smoke cert before you convey the property. You should.
Exactly.
unless it was a cash deal.
Well, I don't know. It said it conveyed for $1, so I doubt that really happened that way. But yeah, maybe that happened. I don't know. But I'm like at my wit's end. I was like, this thing is driving me nuts because I literally live and work in the same physical space. Like I can't really go anywhere else. So that's my little vent around. But I skip traced it and I provided them the numbers and contacts, and she was like, this isn't the owner. I was like, here, I took a screenshot. This happened today. So I took a screenshot and sent the email. So she's like, well, give us till like the Friday or whatever. I was like, look, I'm not going after their property, but like, I want this taken care of. So if anybody wants the address, it's in Watertown. It's in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
You should totally
I think
try
at
and buy
least
it.
one of the units is vacant. Huh?
Yeah.
You should totally try and buy it. That'll solve that.
Oh my gosh. Well, they just bought it. They're not very good. They're self-managing landlords. So don't be them. Take care of your properties. Be like Ken. Be like Ken and Mike. Mike, do you guys want to? Ken, do you want to buy a 2-family, 3-family in Watertown?
Maybe, I don't know. Depends on the price.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't have a manager up there. That's the problem.
Wait, I'm right next door. I'll keep an eye on it for you. Literally.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's funny. No, I'm serious though.
I know we promote a couple books. So we like some of our favorite books is Chris Voss, right? Never Split the Difference.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We also I like the Sandler, right? You can't learn how to ride a bike.
Can't teach a kid how to ride a bike at a seminar.
Right. So and again, right? I met Amber was through Liz. Liz brought her on, and she came on here, and also, right? I like Chris Voss, and I like the Sandler approach. So guys, it's a very, very different approach than your normal or your very high aggressive. Like you guys want to go Sell or Be Sold. I've been listening to Sell or Be Sold for a while by Grant. It's a whole other world, guys. So
that's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would suggest, right? Like get into those three, right? Sell or Be Sold, Sandler, and Chris Voss, right? Like
yeah, I like Sandler because it's the process of vetting anybody who doesn't want to work with you and like the people who you can serve.
Right.
And
but it's
so
more rapport driven. It's more rapport driven, and it's also more thought driven, and it's not very direct and to the point, right? And that's kind of all depends on what your personality is and what you think. And that was one thing that stood out for me with Amber and Liz and working with them. I like the rapport building approach. I like the more thoughtful approach. But don't get me wrong, there are those times where you got to just tell someone, listen, bro, like this is the price, this is my offer, and there's really nothing else you can do about it because all these personalities, you can't fit into anyone. But I just want to give you guys an idea. Like if you guys do start to work with Amber, Amber definitely teaches or, uses, even her VAs are very thoughtful, a lot of open-ended questions, right? Like really, really trying to get the motivation over just the sale or the lead, right? So get into those books before you guys do, maybe, but don't wait that long, right? Just reach out to Amber. I'm just saying though, just to give you guys kind of an idea of her style. I would put those two more in her style. But don't get me wrong, she got some Grant Cardone in her too. So don't be surprised.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Another good one is Chris Martinez, and another good one is clever investor Cody Sperber. He has some pretty cool rapport building techniques that we use in our training as well. But mine is kind of a hodgepodge of all of the above. And that's kind of how I like it, right? Because you need to have a very good understanding of the whole sales process. Because I see us as consultative sales agents, right? We're not trying to upsell. We're trying to find out what the situation is so that we can provide a solution that works. And we can't do that if they don't trust us. So
yeah,
that's how I teach.
Yeah, challenger sales model is similar too. It's finding that loop, right? It's okay, you're not ready yet. When will you be ready? It's that inquisitive, that problem solving, that digging deeper and then digging deeper even more, because most people's initial reaction is going to be no. I don't know you. I'm not going to go forward. It's that pushback. And so you have to approach it, a respectful but curious, but inquisitive way to find out that deeper why. They might not even know it, but the more different ways, or the different ways you ask that question or ask of them, you'll dig in deeper and you'll get that right resolution to that motivation.
And I'm a big component of this. Is not, you're not a salesman, you know, you're a marketer over sales. So, but that's just me. You know, I really think, you know, this is a marketing game over. So don't get me wrong, you still got to close deals, but if you're not getting to the door, if those systems aren't built, then you really don't have a chance to close a sale. But again, that's just me.
Well, and one thing that we've built out in our coaching is a lot of the Sandler method, where they know where they put in consistent coaching and you know, the group teaching, and there's a lot of power in that. And I'll tell you what, to do it right, it's a part-time job, right?
Oh,
It's its job in itself. So being able to have someone do that for you is quite a value add. So absolutely.
Guys, from training modules to
an automatic voice message
KPIs
system,
to
7, 8,
VA
1,
scorecards
8, 5,
to
6, 0,
you name it.
9,
You know what I mean?
3,
It's just
0 is not available.
it's a great.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units, METROUNITS.com. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property in Rhode Island. If you're open to offers or know someone who is, call or text 857-600-2370. Again, Liz, 857-600-2370. Thanks.
And then, you know what I mean? Just building these systems, right? Just imagine the conversations, right? Like I'm networking and I'm saying I'm a wholesaler, and they're like, oh, and then before you know it, my systems, right? How many, my contact rates, like how am I, you know, keeping track, right? Like how am I developing, what are my contact percent? Like it just makes me a whole better wholesaler overall, right? I can kind of market my system, you know. And,
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units, METROUNITS.com. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property in Rhode Island. If you're open to offers or know someone who is, call or text 857-600-2370. Again, 857-600-2370. Thanks. All right.
So, yeah. So, like I said, a lot of things have changed, a lot of tweaks, and you know, it's definitely for the better. Hurt the ego a little bit, but it's for the better.
Oh yeah. So this is a new list.
Are you in Rhode Island? Are you still in Rhode Island?
Yeah, you know, when I clicked in, I hit the wrong link because I have so many pop-up windows in here for the Zoom chat. I didn't see it, but now I'm back in the Rhode Island list.
Liz, so how are you running comps and stuff? What do you use for that? Are you using anything besides Zillow or? I
use public information. Okay. So I go to you know, the regular records, and I like finding good comps on realtor.com first, kind of that reverse prospecting. So putting in the you know, specs of the house, or you know what your comp is. Like I don't have access to MLS, but look on realtor.com for recent solds based on your target property, and then kind of do the digging from there. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes a lot of sense. And if you had a distance timeline for comps?
You want to be like within, you know, 3 to 6 months within that time.
Okay. And then what about the distance, mileage wise? Where are we?
Very, very tight.
Half a mile?
I would
Tighter
say it
than that.
depends.
Yeah. If you're in rural like it depends. Like, yeah, exactly. So if you're in a bigger city, you don't want to cross any major highways or blights like railroads, freeways. If you're out in the county or country area, you want to find a like kind of product. That's what a comp is. You have to utilize the same things a real estate agent would use a comp for too. So if you have trouble, reach out to an agent, see if they can give you a CMA.
Because right, that's it's a process, right? We gotta come up with an ARV, right, guys? You know what I mean? We've got to come up with an after repair value, right? ARV, to where we're almost playing appraisers, right? But lately, who knows? I think appraisers are questioning appraisers these days.
Well,
but anyway,
yeah, if you're trying to do, assignments, you need to know your buyer's pool too. What are they going to buy at? What kind of product do they like or want or
100.
use?
Yes.
So if it's not an ideal for a fix and flip, is it ideal for a BRRRR, a landlord that's going to do some renovation? Or, with COVID the way it is, do you have a real estate agent that has a retail kind of cash buyer that will close that quickly, especially if it's not like, if it's like rent ready right now, like they can live in it, but maybe it's cosmetic dated, be creative in how you'll find your dispositions, depending on the deal.
How are you calculating? What are you using to define a fix and flip or wholesale, wholetail, or even a BRRRR, or even, let's say, if it's a good rental for you?
Hello?
Oh, hey, this is Liz. How's it going?
It's going fine. What can I do for you?
Well, like I said, I'm Liz. I realize it's evening hours. Did I catch you at a bad time?
I don't know. What do you want?
Well, like I said, I'm Liz. I'm an investor. Mostly I'm just looking to have a conversation. Do you or anyone you know of would be interested in an offer on your property?
An offer on my property?
Yes, sir.
No.
Okay.
No.
Are you an investor? Like a landlord?
What's the offer? My wife wants to know.
Well, I could appreciate, I hope you could appreciate, this is the first time we're having a conversation, so I haven't been inside your house. Typically, our offers are done based on current condition. Can you tell me a little bit about your property?
Yeah, let's not bother. I'm not going to sell my house.
Okay. Do you know any friends or family that would benefit them to sell?
No, I don't.
Okay. No neighbors that are looking to sell or move or?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. Well, keep in mind, like I said, I'm an investor, so we don't need to buy today or right away, but we do set aside $1,000 in our marketing budget. So if you're able to connect me with an owner, they end up selling and we buy, we would pay you $1,000 for that.
Okay.
All right. So do you mind if I check back with you in the future?
That'd be fine.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Enjoy your evening.
Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Bye. All right. So that, obviously is an initial very cold call. So I'm going to put him, based on my dispositions, I'm going to put him as not interested. And what that does for me in my back end with call tools, it's set up for a specific messaging and campaign. So instead of reaching out, within the next 15 minutes or, 3 days, it will wait further. It'll do that next queued up call like in a month or 4 weeks.
Hey, Amber, how many no's did she get?
She got enough to get a yes. That's all that matters.
I think she got 2, right off rip.
There was at least 3 or 4. Come on.
I remember 2 right off rip, right off the intro. You were like, is this a bad time? Right. I like using that as well. And again, I really think for some reason, don't ask me why. It's just once they go to no, for some reason, it does. It starts the debate in their mind, right? The conversation of like, oh, why is this girl even calling me anyway, right? Like, what could she be possibly want, you know?
When he was a little kind of laughy and playful, so I kind of went for it. And when his wife got involved too, that's actually good. So that's I'm gonna hang on to the notes there. Wife in the background.
Yeah, and then you went with the label, right? I know it's the evening hours, right? Like And guys,
it's perfect dinner time, right? Who wants to talk to somebody and like out of the blue, like that?
Totally. So she's going for no, just in that intro, right? She went for no. She got like one or two before she even really like threw a label at him.
I mean, I obviously haven't even seen it. Like, this number just popped up. So 19 Tillett Avenue, let's see. And they're obviously owner occupied, so that's always a tougher kind of pitch too. But it looks
How long have they owned it, do you know?
I'm just trying to see on this.
You can see the sale date information if you scroll down. You're right. You know where to go.
Yeah.
It's not an ugly house by any means.
No, I know. It looks like they kept it up really well. It's a
built
3-1.
in 1900. Holy moly.
Amber, that's our inventory here.
Yeah, that's our whole yeah. That's us.
I don't know,
wasn't around. Like none of the houses in Texas are in the 1900s.
No, I'm also working Florida list too, so I'm like, oh, okay, 1960s, I can deal with that. 60s and 70s. I don't see it here. I don't know where it is.
Okay.
Recently sold. That's in the neighborhood though. But yeah, they're probably not ready to retire, but that might be the.
Well, it's a 2-story. They're elderly. Right?
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. They might be looking for a 1-story. And I would ask for the wife next time. If it was me, I'd be like, hey,
well, look at this name. Oh, Loreno. Is that Loreno? Yeah. So I didn't want to butcher that either, but
yeah,
it's probably good contact information. I like my skip tracing. Okay. So husband.
That's one of my favorite questions. Yeah, what's your offer? My feedback for that is, well, did you have a price in mind?
Okay, yeah.
Go on and get to it. And if they did, I ask, well, how did you come to that price? Like, how did you get to that number? So that you're understanding how they got to their price, because that gives you a lot more information. You're like, are they educated in real estate? Do they know their numbers? Are they already talking to other investors that are giving them offers, right? Or are they just pulling a number out their butt because they really don't want to talk to you, right? And make it as high as possible.
So Loreno Soriano, right, is on the deed, right? They've owned it for approximately 9 years and 7 months.
Okay. Yeah, it's a high equity list, so I would imagine it's at least like.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, just hypothetically, right? She owes about $10,000 on her estimated loan balance. So there's
right here. It's right there, 11.
Right.
Yeah.
Estimated equity. She got like 345,000 estimated equity, right? Your average sale price in the area is 424, right? So I use PropStream, right? Big ups to PropStream. I like to use that for my comps and my other crazy detective type shit. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember Inspector Gadget, right? Go Gadget. But yeah, that was my shit then. But
so what's that? If you're on public record, what's the wife's name?
Oh, it's not even on the deed, I don't think.
Okay.
Let me check though. I'll run down some more. I'll try to find something, but I love it. I want as soon as oh, wait a second. She is. No. Julita P. Soriano.
How do you spell it?
Soria.
No, the first name.
Julita, Julita.
Okay.
So they purchased in 1/18/2012.
Yeah, left intro on the bird dog fee.
And trying to find out what they bought it for. Yeah, they actually sold this thing. They bought this thing for $189,000, guys.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say right here.
Fucking power of real estate, dude, is so bananas. It really is.
What's market on there? 370?
Well, the estimated value, right? They estimated it at 356,000, but you have comps in the area of ranges of 4.25
Yeah, it's probably going up.
over, right? They're over asking, right? Like a lot
Yeah.
of them. So, but you would have to still, like, I'd have to go in comps, make sure they're the same beds, right? They just give you a broad range. You really got to get in there, and which are good things to learn, guys, right?
Yeah. Don't be
You're gonna
me.
have to learn 'em?
Don't be in like 10 different markets. Don't be like me. I
No
learn a
way.
new market every month, it seems like, but no, I'm good. I'll build it out.
You'll be fine. Be like Liz. Just call everybody. Be so sweet to them and nice to them.
Hi, this is Jeff.
Let them know that you're going to pay them $1,000, even if
I'll give you a call.
they
Hang
don't
on.
buy your house, they'll buy
Thank you.
another.
Bye.
So that works. That
At the
tends
tone,
to,
please record your message.
Hang on, Kev.
When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Jeff, this is Liz. Give me a call when you can, 857, or text 857-600-2370. Just want to have a quick chat with you. All right.
so
Probably not the best way to
So
leave
yeah,
a
guys,
message.
I really would, right? I know I'm just kind of asking Liz questions that I would think maybe some of you guys would ask or would be maybe interested. And again, right, like start learning how to analyze some properties, mess around on Zillow, right? See where you're at, right? Learn what cash on cash return is, you know, learn all that fun stuff. What else can we learn? Your ARVs, right? Run your comps, check them out, you know. And then what's cool is I like to use PropStream with the cash buyers, right? So I get an ARV comp, and I also can find cash buyers in the area and what they've been paying for similar properties cash, right? Because that's our best bet, is finding that guy or that system or that investor that has access to the type of lending. Don't get me wrong, it's not the only way that you can get rid of a wholesale deal.
To AT&T voicemail. We need more information to direct your call to the appropriate voicemail
Shoot.
box.
Sometimes
To
they
leave
ask
a
for the
message,
outgoing.
Yeah,
please
they don't
dial the
play.
10-digit phone number of the person you are trying to call. If you have a mailbox on this system, please press pound.
160. 261. 75137.
Damn, girl.
I didn't do that right.
Nope, you lost it, girl.
That's fine.
Sorry you were having trouble. Please try
So,
again later. Goodbye.
guys, and again, right? Amber just put her Calendly link in there. Get in there, chop it up with Amber, even if it's for a half hour. It
No
definitely worth it.
answer.
But I would, again, right, guys, I would recommend, you know, if this is something that you guys want to do, and I mean, you want to close some deals this year, whatever. If I can help in any way, Amber, even Liz, like I know, you know.
I told you, translate my text messages, my emails in Portuguese.
That's right. I know there's an ask for every seat, right, guys? I know I can't work with everybody. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I think me and Liz have been able to, you know, last now well over a year, right? I think because it's like some different personalities, and I believe not everyone should just work with one person, guys.
Ooh, that's a fax. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Ooh.
So, and we spoke about it, right? Like we spoke about it earlier, the three of us, I don't know how many groups we're in. You know, when I get excited like a new group, I got into a pizza dough group the other night, and I'm jacked up. Like I like to cook on myself for myself, right? Like but I've never realized that how complex pizza dough really is. And then I got all excited about I found a Facebook group with pizza dough addicts. That's what it was. So I'm telling you guys, it's
like
great
raw pizza dough you eat, or just
no.
the
I
right
make
recipe?
pizza. I call it's an uni. These are some really cool pizza ovens. They're affordable, and they use wood pellet stove, so you can get that wood flavored pizza.
Thank you for calling the law office of Roberts and Associates.
Law
Please
office,
leave-
huh?
I'm not going to leave a message just
So,
yet. I'm
you
going to
can
put them
kinda
on the
like-
vendor list.
You can kind of like pretend like you're this pizzaiola from Italy, you know, and the kids will like it too. It's pizza night. We get to throw around some dough, some flour, and you know, it's fun. It turns into a pretty cool thing. But again, there's a group for everything, dude. And I'll tell you another group I'm excited about is houseboats. So I said to myself, like, you know, once I can establish myself, you know, with my rental portfolio, I'm gonna house hack my way, right? That's the plan. But once I'm done house hacking and moving around, it's either a condo or, you know, a houseboat. So I literally joined like 3 houseboat communities, and these people literally like live full time, like such badass boats too, like 2 bed, 3 but 40 foot, like unbelievable stuff. Like, so, get into it with these things. Like I catch up, like I'm with the Real Estate Disruptors guys. I'm with the Pace Morby guys. I'm with the Wholesaler Inc. guys, right? Like all of it, man. I know there's this great Burr investing group that we're all in, like unbelievable. Like just some of the stuff, conversations on those threads, you learn so much, man. It's so worth it. So
really quickly for this lead, the outgoing voicemail was for a law office, and I got the email in there for my skip tracing. So I just went real quick to Google, put it in there, found their business website, and just took a quick search. You know, is this a closing attorney? Is this a probate attorney? This is a personal injury. So you can either build relationships with attorneys like this to see if any of their clients are in a need to work with, you know, fast, you know, buy your house, buy your property fast cash as is to pay medical bills or things like that. For me, I'm gonna maybe I'll keep it on there, but I do want to dig into this a little differently. So I want to separate this from my main messaging, and that's why I like call tools, is because in the back end office you can direct and tweak all of the messaging with the dispositions. So as you use your list, as you go through the list with an auto dialer, you can recycle the list. So once you get through all those bad numbers, faxes, DNCs, or whatever, then the next time you call that list, it's a more condensed list to people that would be open to a secondary or third conversation with you. And so that's the goal.
Did you notice you have,
I'm
I'm sorry, you notice you have 3 attendees, or do you let them in?
I've been trying to let people in all night, but it gets a little busy with doing the calls.
Oh yeah,
and
of course,
that.
yeah.
So let me go back in there.
I just wanted you to. I just noticed it too.
Yeah.
There you go.
Promote to panelists.
Welcome.
They have to accept it though. So.
Oh.
Yeah. So
sorry.
I did. Sometimes it takes a while.
Yeah. But yeah, right. So, but ultimately, right, I'd want a probate, right? Like maybe a probate attorney, right? Or
well, think bigger than that too. Probate, divorce, and you know, even like a criminal case, almost like if the homeowner, you know, is going to be in jail for a while, they need to.
Like if there's this mass murder in the house and shit, like.
Well, I mean, yeah, that happens.
I know.
Literally.
It does.
So
what's the real estate law about that, right? They don't have to. Do they have to?
Well, they're innocent until proven guilty.
No,
right?
I'm saying for me to buy the house, do I have to know? I want to go in as a buyer. Like, do I have to know that somebody was murdered in this house?
So that's 2 separate questions. If you're dealing with the homeowner who is incarcerated, you can send you know, what do you call it? Not a power of attorney, but a notary to get the document signed. They can still make decisions for themselves. So it's just a matter of scheduling that type of appointment at the prison. Now, if the scenario is did somebody die in an adverse way in a home, check the real estate laws for the local area that the house is in, because each one with their notices is a little bit different.
You're so good.
And I am not a licensed agent, so.
You are so good. What a way to deflect, bro. You guys learned something right there, bro. Like literally. But I think you do have to disclose. I think you got a fiduciary duty, I think, to disclose, especially if you're running in the open house or whatever, don't you?
It literally is based on the local laws.
Yeah.
Wow. So
it'd be kind of crazy, right? Going into an open house, like, yep, there's a murder here, right? Like, you know, pretty crazy.
Hey,
right?
you know, if you want to just go around, and I'm sure there's no laws announcing certain things, but you aren't always. I mean, you know, it can put a blight on that, and so, you know, if you're representing as a, you know, it can go either way, I think.
Well, we got Lizzie Borden, right? We got that in here, and they're literally like running enactments now. They got the bed and breakfast, and literally people pay to sleep in this bed and breakfast where she, I guess, was accused of slaying. Like you can literally sleep or sit on the couch that her father was allegedly slayed by her. So, and these people come from
Everybody.
yeah, they have
Both
right. There's an
weird.
ass for every seat, guys. I truly believe that. But yeah, we just recently new owners within the bed and breakfast, and that's definitely an attraction when you come to Fall River, Mass. Lizzie Borden, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna change my name now.
Yeah, Lizzie Borden. I believe it. Lizzie gave her father 40 whacks. When she see what she had done, she gave her mother 41. So she was pronounced. She was not found guilty.
Hello.
Oh, hey, this is Liz. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, thanks. I was hoping you can help me out a little bit. Did I catch at a bad time?
No.
Okay. Well, like I said, my name is Liz, and mostly the reason for the phone call is I'm looking to connect with owners. I'm not sure if you've thought about selling.
Oh, no. We've been here 30 years, so we're not.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. So can you tell
Thank
me
you.
a little bit about your reasoning? Do you like the neighborhood?
Yep.
Okay. Well, do you know, since I'm, an investor, it doesn't necessarily need to be you. I am interested in the area as a whole. Do you know any neighbors or friends or family that would benefit from selling?
No. And thanks for your time.
Okay. Like I said, I'm an investor, so it doesn't need to be today or right away. So he just hung up on me. But I kept talking, so that's part of the process. I'm going to put him as not interested because I didn't get my 3 no's, right? He hung up before I got my 3 no's. I'm going to reach back at a future date and see if he can send people my way, like referrals. Not interested.
I liked when you were like, I don't know if you can help me, or I'm looking for help. I teach my virtual assistants to do that same thing, that little lost in the woods act that we can put on. People respond to that. People genuinely want to help when needed, when they can. And so putting them in a position to help is pretty smart, right? So great job on that one.
Yeah, I like using it too because it sets the stage, and I can explain a little bit more. It's not necessarily, I mean, yeah, I'm calling them obviously, but my ultimate goal isn't necessarily like literally him. If I get that first no, I want that to be a bridgeway into, the immediate neighborhood, right? Friends, family, neighbors. I could have talked maybe a little bit more about a blighted house, if you've given them that visual, just that ugly house in the neighborhood that you want to see fixed up, can you just give me that address? Almost. I mean, that's the idea behind it, right?
Was that a different intro than your first?
I changed it up a little while, but I've used it
So that's what I'm
before.
saying. So I was going to ask you, like, you feel comfortable with multiple different intros? And would you recommend that for
Amber's like, no, Liz's got all these bad habits.
That's why I love it. That's why I'm here, guys. I'm here to the blood splatter, right? We'll keep that to a minimum. No more Lizzie Borden type.
I will tell you, I don't do that because I want the conversation organic. My conversations are a framework. I try and do similar things, but I don't always do them.
That's huge. Framework. Love it.
Like a robot. I mean, my voice sounds bad enough already.
I was going to say the opposite. I think you have an amazing voice. Like your intro sounds so suave. Like, I don't care who you are. You call me with that voice. I want to talk to you. Right. And not all of us have that gift. So definitely using that to your advantage is amazing. And you should keep doing that. However, if you were to hire a virtual assistant, I would not give them that freedom. Right. I would tell them, hey, we want to use this intro, use these objection handlers, and always do this the same way until we know that they're just as confident as you. And then you can start to play around with it.
Yep.
But I love
Amber,
your
would you
voice.
tell me to try different intros? Like if it's my organic
Do you need a
marketing.
compliment right now, Kevin?
Like,
You have
would
a
you
great
tell me
voice
to
today.
try different intros? Like, you know what I mean? Like fail often, right? I would say fail often and fail quite a bit.
If you were the one calling, I would say absolutely.
Okay.
If it was the virtual assistant, I have a tried and true intro. My intro is 2 words if it's the same sex that answers, or 4 or 5 words if it's not. Hi, where's our name? Kevin? Or hi, I'm looking for Kevin. And you sound lost, right? Like, please help me. I don't know where I am. And they'll tell you, well, you got the wrong number. Oh, thank you so much for letting me know, right? That's a relief. You don't say, oh, I'm sorry. We never want to say, I'm sorry. We all want to say, thank you for letting me know. And then pivot into that next question. Well, while I have you, I'm an investor in the area. Another thing, Elizabeth, if you're open to feedback, I would avoid saying your name as often in the intro because it comes off as you're nervous and you're trying to find your spot. But it works. It's not working, but it's all about those little 1% things, right?
Well,
So
the
just
reason,
try it.
no, I hear what you're saying. The reason why, and maybe it's not on every call, but the reason why I do it was because I kept getting the who are you? Even if I said like who I am. And I want to, again, that's part of the transition or the scripting. Hey, I'm just Liz. Hey, I'm just an investor. And so that's why I come back to that spot. It's part of that loop.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I would loop twice and stop looping after that, right? Or loop to another thing. Like I said, I'm an investor. Our company name is, right? But when you go back to your name multiple times, in some instances, it'll come off as, why is she telling me your name again? Like she already told me your name. But for twice makes sense. 3 times might be a little overkill. And again, it's all a case by case situation. At the end of the day, if they're talking to you, it's still a win, right?
Yeah,
as long as they haven't hung up, you're not doing
100.
anything wrong.
It's funny. I know I told you guys to follow some guys, and Pace Morby went into this. His last 2 videos on his Instagram was, I think we're overthinking the intro. Oh my God, like he says the first 6 seconds, he's like, oh my God, should we say our company name? Like, oh my gosh, should we say? And he's like, man, I'm gonna tell this guy I just ate a ham sandwich. And he really does that. On the next call, he tells the guy, obviously it was a follow-up from one of his students, his sub 2 students. It was a follow-up, and he literally just says, oh my God, I'm like so excited today. And the lead, the prospect says, what do you mean? Like, why are you so excited? Oh, I just had the most amazing ham sandwich. They're laughing, and before you know it, they're having a great conversation. So what Amber says, right, it all works, right? It's great to have those systems within, like, especially if you are going to, scale. But man, have fun, fail, laugh a little bit, you know what I mean? Because that's what's going to help you keep going.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
If
so
it's
follow
not fun,
him too. Pace.
Yeah, if it's not fun, it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So yeah,
100.
keeping it fun is all about it. And you have to fake it sometimes, and that's okay. Sometimes you are fake happy when you are making cold calls, and there is nothing wrong with that. I teach my agents, it's a lot like voice acting, right? You are playing a character right now. And even if that's not exactly how you feel, you fake it, you make it. And you can get a long way by faking your tone of voice as needed. So. And I love that bird dog pitch. Like not everyone does that. I know it's growing, but not everyone does it. I've talked to multiple people that wrong number, dead lead, wrong address, dead lead, property sold, dead lead.
No, these no's, the other valuable thing, even if it's still a no, the other valuable thing they can provide to you is literally boots on the ground. They can answer questions. That's why I was like, hey, tell me a little bit about why, you know, you do like the neighborhood. So I don't have to do all the research. You're literally hearing it from somebody who's been in that neighborhood for 30 years and seen all the changes, you know. Obviously, I didn't build enough rapport in the first 2 minutes that he was on the phone, but you know, maybe
He's
a
not
second.
a dead lead either.
Yeah,
You're gonna call him
exactly.
back too. So
Exactly.
there's always another time. Yeah, I think you're doing a fantastic job. Like, this is fun for me. It's fun because I always hear virtual assistants, right? It's not very often that I get to hear someone in the US making prospecting calls. So this is great.
All right, there we go. Yeah, no, I mean, I literally do this for my day job too. So.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 914486129 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units, metrounits.com. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property in Rhode Island. If you're open to offers, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. The other reason why I do leave the voicemail, like leave the number, because I'm on an auto dialer. These numbers are Massachusetts numbers, but it's not my direct Google number coming back. And they're in Rhode Island. So I mean, it's close enough. But I work some areas where I have local numbers in California, but you know, I'm obviously a Massachusetts-based company, so I have to kind of, you know, give them that reason why. Not everybody will need to leave a message like that. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay. And these, again, it's a little bit of a mixed list. You can be better about how you upload your lists in your auto dialer. So you know, but I would say know that end seller really well. So what I mean by a mixed list is they're all high equity, but some of them are single family, some of them are multifamily. And so it can be a little bit different conversation where you have an owner occupied owner versus more of an investor or landlord. Like, that's the funny thing too, is landlords don't look at themselves as investors, or you say investors, they just don't think like real estate, like, you know, it's just an interesting perception that I've kind of come to understand from the conversations. Yeah.
What do you use for what do you use to build your list?
I use RealFlow, and the other thing I am going to be sending in my Facebook group a little bit more conversations on are like code violations and other types of distress aspects. So you could get lists. Like, that's why it's so important to know like how to pull the public information, because you're like direct to the source. You know, you don't have to buy a list from list source, or you don't have to subscribe, especially if you're getting started and you just want to do this on the low cost. Right. Like for in Massachusetts. So in Randolph, I believe the city has an ordinance where they require any property owner to be on a list, and they get fined, be on a list for a vacant property. So they get fined, or they have to pay the city X amount of dollars if that property is vacant on like for 3 years, 5 years, or whatever. So if your house is sitting for 3 years, 5 years, and you're on that vacant list, I mean, you would think that they might be motivated to sell versus, you know, something like that. So looking for those types of things. But again, I've spread myself out through different markets. I'm reorganizing to having the base list, so high equity, but then also seeking out other like code violations, other types of you know, pain point type of lists.
Yeah. So there was I was on a webinar, again, another group of guys, MSTV guys, Chris Noggle, I was on a webinar with them not too long ago, and they were talking about ways to get off the list, right, as an investor and things of that nature. Even an LLC, right? We say put it in an LLC or whatever. An LLC still needs to have a manager. So there still needs to be someone on that LLC.
Oh, that's a good, well, but you go the Mario route.
Well, right. So what a lot of investors and landlords don't know is that they put themselves as the manager sometimes, and you don't really have to. You can put whoever on it, because it's what they say, right? Rockefeller's got the famous quote of control everything but own nothing. So, and those are some of the ways, right? Find someone that you trust, right? Not with the same last name.
If you're a savvy landlord, and
Right,
that's the thing is,
right.
I'm like, all right, give me all these wholesalers calling me. I'm like, no, I don't want to sell. Add me to your buyers list.
Hell yeah. No, I'd like the conversation. I just like to chop it up about real estate. So I'm with you. But at the same time, you have lawyers that get paid, guys, to find these type of people and find this type of equity, where they will literally try and find lawsuits on landlords that have these high equity, and if your name is attached to them, they're coming for it. So, but anyway, yes, accurate data is key, right? There are many different websites and many different systems, from list source to deal flow to real flow, or there's deal machine, there's prop stream, quite a bit of them. Find one that you like, I would suggest. A lot of them do 7-day trials, but how many are in here? There's 13 of you, right? If anybody does reach out to me, I'm on Facebook, reach out to me, say, hey, I live in blah, 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 wherever you live, and I can help you with a list. Okay. If that's something that you guys are interested in. Now I can't help you with skip tracing. Skip tracing is another process. You would have to find that. We do work with someone on, we do work with someone on Fiverr, and Amber does it as well. There are a lot of avenues that way, and then there's a lot of ways to go about that too. So, but either way, right? Ask away. We're here. Reach out to any one of us if we can help you in any way. But I would suggest to just try them all, right? Eat shit. If you got to eat it a little more often than usual, you'll just be just like me. I tend to eat quite a bit of it, but there's only growth from there, really. There's no failure. It's just continuous growth. So has anyone used PropStream for driving for dollars? I believe it's a new caveat. I've never seen PropStream with their new driving for dollars, which would be pretty cool. I know Batch does a batch driven. And I know I've used Deal Machine personally for driving for dollars.
Guys, you can do it free too.
Yeah, there you go.
This is a Google sheet. It literally is a Google thing that I just created. You have to have a Google account, so go sign up for a free Gmail account. But you can basically build it out question-wise. They can fill out the answers, and then it puts it in a spreadsheet form for you. So you have it.
Yeah. So yeah, these are great tools, right? And I want to say that's why we're here.
It'll keep pictures in there too. Let me see. Yeah. I don't mind showing you the back end because I haven't had it filled out that much.
Don't get me wrong. I think I've spoken about these topics pretty much almost every meeting that I'm in, but at the same time, I enjoy it, right? It's about me giving back.
Yeah.
And as I grow as an investor, I'll be able to give even more, but right now I'm learning just like you guys are. I've just, got into it a little more obsessively. I truly believe if you're, really want to do something, you really got to obsess about it. You can't continue to do the same things, and accept, do the same things and accept different results, right? Like there has to be an obsessive tendency somewhere for you to get an edge and get a different result. That's just the facts of life, I guess. I'm not here trying to preach you guys on anything, right? I ain't got shit figured out, but I think that's pretty common. But even though it took me almost 30 years to figure that out, though, like I just stood stagnant for forever. But it's like, I don't know, just got to knock your head up against a few walls sometimes. And you tend to try to find a different outcome or a different road to take. But
So here, share this.
so yeah, so I use PropStream. I use Podio for a CRM, right? What's a CRM?
So this is what it builds out, and then
Look at that.
the images are there, so you have an image.
Look
So
at
it's
that.
your own app, basically free.
Badass, yeah. And then,
And then you can
Google, right?
create-
You can do the Google Maps, so you can drag over that little guy.
Yeah,
Pop
you
him
can do
on the
that too.
street,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's pretty cool.
You'll still have to fill out the property, like owner information, but you can look public record for
Mhm.
free, True People Search,
Yeah.
This is a good way to get boots on the ground in other areas like bird
Yeah.
dogs. This is a really good way to systematize.
So, Liz, real quick, like driving for dollars, right? Obviously, it's a common strategy.
Mhm.
Can you give me a pros and cons of driving for dollars?
Well, I mean, you need to have the time freedom to do it, but again, you could deputize people by having those conversations, setting them up with that spreadsheet, right?
Mhm.
You can, again, it's a matter of what is it saying? It's just, having your highest and best use for your time, or your, what is it? Amber knows it. Is that it?
Where are you most valuable, right? Where do you
Exactly.
need to be in your business to be the most valuable? I guarantee you it's probably not driving around looking for houses, unless you're knocking on those doors and having conversations with contracts in your back seat, right?
Exactly. So yeah, I would put, cold calling and texting kind of in the same marketing channel lane, driving for dollars and door knocking, again, same channel or lane. And so, so for me personally, I view myself as a $300 per hour kind of, thing. Yes, I'll go on here and I'll, cold call, I'll leave live voicemail messages. Not everybody does that, but, yeah, it's finding ways to delegate some of the other tasks. And that's what I want to try and do. I think, Amber, I am close to getting a VA more for the list pulling, because I have a lot of different markets. And so maybe I can find that right process and that thing for that part of the, data process. Because I don't need to, I mean, I'm more than capable of being in spreadsheets all day, but I have other things I could be using my time for too.
So I would figure out, right? I know Kevin had asked that question about driving for dollars, so I'm guessing Kevin would probably get the most use out of a pro and con type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say your pro for having a driving for dollars list is having a very unique list.
Yeah.
And then your con, I'm gonna steal the con from Gualter, right? I stand on the shoulder of giants. You're looking for problems, right? It's gonna be hard to find a whole tale with a quick driving for problems, right? You're looking for a mess. You're looking for, a project. So those are the two main things that I would say, right? You're going to get a very exclusive to you list. And then at the same time, your cons, you're going to run into bigger projects, right? A bigger due diligence on your end, a bigger buyer's pool, right? Because not all your buyers want those type of projects, and
well, that's
stuff like that.
What goes back to who your end buyers are. Are they fix and flip people, or are they landlords? Because landlords want to take, just like what Kevin was mentioning, he would rather take over a mismanagement situation, right? A retiring landlord versus a deferred maintenance. Like the worst case scenario is both bad management and deferred
or even vacant,
right?
Like you were talking about vacant. If you got a house vacant for 2 to 3 years, man, that's
it really depends on the area, because some markets would prefer to have a vacant property than a tenanted one, especially if it's non-performing, meaning you've got a person basically squatting in there because of COVID and eviction moratoriums. So you really, again, it goes back to knowing your market, knowing your buyers. And like in Cambridge, or no, not Cambridge, Somerville, a lot of the strategy is condo conversions, and they want it vacant. They don't want a tenant in there. They want the owner to, get rid of that, because there's a local ordinance saying that tenant has first right of refusal, meaning the offer has to go to the tenant before it can go to any kind of investor buyer. So know your market, know your buyers.
but again, right, those two situation and scenarios doesn't stop me, right? If anyone that's local to me that's in these meetings, reach out. Let's
No,
go driving
no,
for
it's
dollars.
great. No,
Let's go.
exactly.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it works.
I walk for dollars. I go around my neighborhood. I walk for dollars.
I
But
can't drive
could-
around anywhere without noticing.
Oh,
It's
exactly. I
terrible.
have a huge rubberneck. Yes, I always
It's
look at
bad, bro.
properties.
It's
Yeah.
bad now,
Yeah.
right? Like, so
Well,
you
My
know what I mean?
kids know, oh, mama, I think that house needs your help. We're driving around. Ooh,
So
that
so
thing,
that's
mama,
the
that one needs
obsessive
you.
behavior that I'm talking about, guys.
Kevin, I have to tell you, so this is very unique. So I do prospecting and outreach through LinkedIn. So I had an inbound person message me today, a
Nice.
corporate, and I was like, well, okay, yeah, let's, I'm not a property manager, but I do, add people to my vendors list. And so I went and researched them a little bit more on their website because they're a roofing company and construction, I guess. And I looked at one of the projects and I was like, that's literally down the street from me.
Wow, yeah,
And
that's perfect.
it's a Boston-based company, so it kind of makes sense. But it was very, very interesting. Like it is kind of a small world. You bump into different people, different projects.
Oh,
so
it
it's
is.
good
And
to know the
again,
market.
Yeah. And again, that's obsessive behavior, right, guys? That's going to
Because it
land
was.
you.
Yeah, it was a
Tailored to it.
commercial property. And I'm like, oh, that would be such a sweet deal. Because there on the other side of the block, there was another large development, ground up condos. So I'm like, ooh, what's going in there? She hadn't answered the question, but they're tearing it down. It's all rubble.
Yeah.
So
Like, again, right, just for a small example, right, like I do go out and I drive for Lyft, right? So I do that to generate some extra money throughout the week. And I literally, when I see someone in my car, I literally find an
Uber.
excuse why to talk about real estate. If a podcast is not on or a book is not on, right, it's not a clear tell, but I will try to find a way in our conversation to kind of ease it in there that, hey, I love real estate and I'd like to buy some. So again, that's obsessive behavior, guys, that I'm talking about. I'm not telling you to, be ridiculously obsessive, right? We still got a life, obviously, beyond, and that's why we have people like Amber setting systems.
Use your powers for good. Only report.
Right, exactly. Yes, powers for good, or else you get them back, right? Like it'll come back tenfold, And I'm a true believer. What you put out into the universe will come back. So.
Call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 40171147303 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property in Rhode Island. If you're open to offers or know someone who is, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. Yeah, maybe I have too much customer service background, but that's my sing-song.
Yeah.
I love it. The only thing I'm wondering is if you could record that sucker and drop it.
Call Tools doesn't allow it.
No,
right?
actually, Kevin. So I talked to my rep. So this is the older system. Kevin has the Call Tools IO. And I will convert over. I want to move first because I will have to basically redo everything. But maybe not that bad.
Right.
But that is one thing that's sort of an upgrade for it.
So if you guys are like some OGs, right? Me and Liz would like literally go back and forth with Mojo and Call Tools, right? So I finally she got me to bite the bullet, right? So I went over but I went in right to their newest system. So now it's been like, haha, Liz, when are you going to get into the newer one?
I know. I was like, oh.
So now here she comes into the newer one. So, but you know what the best thing is? It's like we literally just push each other like to be better and to use a better system, right? And that's what this is about. You know what I mean? Ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, so this is just a glimpse. This is a literally all cold calls. These are never been called before. There's a brand new fresh list, right? Skip traced it 2 weeks ago. So everything's kind of built out. And you had a question earlier, like what the, why do you have a button for vendor list? Why do you have this? You can build this tool out however you want it to be utilized for yourself. Yep. And the way I see it is I'm laying a foundation. It's not just for sellers It's for anybody that I'm going to need to contact in a real estate investing deal, right? I'm going to build it out for buyers. I'm going to build it out for property managers. I'm going to build it out for real estate agents. I'm going to build it out for contractors.
Badass.
So they get different messaging and touch base, within a reasonable time frame and messaging. And that was like the mind-blowing thing, is like, oh, in my sales job, I'm thinking of different sequencing and campaigns, and you want to reach out to people with emails, you want to reach out to people with a voicemail, conversation, text, or whatever. And so I'm like marrying all of those different marketing tools in,
it's awesome,
not only for seller conversations, but again, that industry.
And the dispositions are insane. Like, you can customize your own dispositions in call tools. Like, and then like, you can track your VAs. Ask Amber. You can literally track everything on call tools when it comes to.
If you were one of my VAs, I would have tagged you. I'm like, why are you waiting 3 minutes between calls? It was a 10-second call and it was a voicemail and there's no notes. Why are you waiting so long? Right. And you can do that with your KPIs here. So
awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, I told you, there's a little Grant Cardone in her, right? Like, she'll come get you,
Well, as part of knowing what you can do with it too, I do have emails loaded up, and I have different templates, because I'm talking to property managers, but it's also a little bit, so I'm going back to the example of next door. I'm pointing over here because that's where the house is, but I left the message, I didn't use an auto dial or whatever. I just picked up my phone and called them, but I just was like, hey, I knew they were the owners, and I knew obviously they were absentee owners because I checked that before the call, but I said, hey, I just had a question, or I wanted to tell you something about your property. I'm not sure if you're self-managing or if you have a property manager on it, but here's my number, give me a call. And that was a basic message. So they call me that like next day. It's like, again, if you're putting that messaging out there, it's probably a self-managing landlord that they're going to have to be responsive. And it's that kind of curiosity thing. So obviously I had more of a complaint, but maybe I can bring some happy news as a, seller or buyer. But yeah, so I have different emails ready to go too. And that did come in handy on a live cold call when I got, that wholesale deal in Apple. So he wanted an email. So I was like, all right, I got something ready to go. Here you go. And then
That's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
We're using batch right now. And I guess maybe I didn't realize all of the different things that call tools could do.
Yeah, you want to we got half an hour left, but I don't mind last 10 minutes or so. We can hop into the back end. You can see the campaign.
Great.
Yeah, how I built it out. And again, this is like, that fail forward kind of aspect, and the experimenter or the technician in me, it's like, all right, let's put this together, and then now let's refine it. Let's make this work, for me and not against me.
Well, and then once you have it built the way you want to get a virtual assistant or someone in here to map it all out, so that when you switch, it's just a matter of following your map, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because you have it all written out. One of the biggest things that I encourage people to make as they're getting ready to hire their VA is a map of all your disposition rules, right? What are your call rules? Is this considered a contact? Is this considered a lead? Is this the end of this record? Is this the end of this number? Like, what do you want to happen next?
Yeah.
And mapping it out in a spreadsheet.
Kevin says, Liz, I hope you're getting royalties from Call Tools. Hey, I did just get an affiliate link for Call Tools. So if anybody wants it, I'll drop my what is it? Linktree link.
Awesome.
This is the right one. So RealFlow is my CRM, Call Tools, and Skip Tracing Services are at the top. And then if you want to book time, I think you have to search for it. I got a lot in here. I got to clean it up. There's a lot of links. Oh, I hopped out of it. So, or is that a different one? Oh, that's nice. Okay. All right. So I guess I got out of so this is the back end. I can show it to you real quick, I guess. So there's different record cards here. So you do sort of have a CRM, and again, it's built out basically through your spreadsheet and what column headers that you have. But you can customize it, and it can be different between the lists. That's why mine is so big, because I had one that was more for apartments and property managers, and then one that's more for, single family or small residential. So the campaigns are the redial templates. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it. And then I have a couple, I accidentally duplicated it, but go into edit here. Most of the areas like
Beautiful.
Washington, California, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island are basically the same list, or same phone numbers, but I did separate the list. But yeah, everybody basically has, if they're you have a foundational list, right? High equity is what I pulled. It's either high equity owner occupied or absentee owner, or single family or small multifamily. But basically the messaging for the sales conversation or the selling part is all the same. So I do rotate through SMS text messages. I have 6 different text messages, and that's in a different menu, so I can't really share like the actual script, but I do have it. Basically the first one is, hey, first name, like literally, and it'll populate the first name based on the record card that's matched up with the phone number. So yeah, and then they could reply or not reply, right? And then it goes through a different sequence, and then if by disposition, if I've marked that this is a property management contact, then again it'll have a sequence of different text messages, but that are geared towards property managers.
Now, is that assuming they don't reply, it'll send another message the next day or something along those lines?
Well, again, it's based on so my whole list is what, 2,000, so it's based on the list, and it goes through the numbers, I guess, in its own order. That's what it does on the back end. Like it's a Call Tools is a I don't know if it's an algorithm or whatever. It's just the IT side of it, that it will queue up live calls to you based on the dispositions from a previous session. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So some of them could be based on the call connection too, like there's no answer, or the call failed, or because I'm on an auto dialer and I've got 5 lines calling out, did it drop the call so I can go to a live call, and then that's marked a certain way. Again, it happens in the background, but it gets coded a certain way, like busy. Beautiful. Or no answer. And so again, once the number gets put back in that loop or that cycle, it'll go through the number of up at bats, I guess you can think of it, right? Or absolutely. Sessions. Yeah.
Well, and the beauty of a system like this is, even as one person, it makes you come across much bigger than you are. And to be an industry expert and to win their trust, they need to feel like we can handle whatever comes at us,
Absolutely.
So it just gives them a really great first impression. The email, the text, the call, all within a few minutes of each other. I mean, that's quite the impression to make, and that's what we're going for.
Yeah, and I recently did fine tune. So after 15 minutes, right? So if you're sitting in a session, one time, maybe it's a 2-hour session, maybe it's a 3-hour session. You might get that same number a couple of different times, right? Because it's every 15 minutes, and then it goes to 3 days out. So. You do
and
try and hit them.
Yeah, go ahead. You're right.
I was gonna say, yeah, you do want to try and hit them hard fast, and then give them a little bit of a break, right?
Yeah, that's beauty. That's the beauty of it. I like your system because it's built out for when you have time to call, and you can change it. Like on the 2nd attempt, we're going to call right back, but on the 4th attempt, we're going to wait a little bit and then call back, so you can kind of play with the cadence. Mm-hmm. And just so we're clear, it's not when exactly that call is to be made. It's when it gets added to the queue of calls to be made.
When you're sitting it. Mode. So yeah.
Right.
So as a solopreneur, right, you're in it. If I don't do it 5 days a week, right, it'll just push it out that many more days in between those like touches.
Right. So I guess what my question as a consultant would be, on average, how quickly are you getting through a record, right? However many attempts it takes you to get through. Yeah.
So that's the do as I say, don't do as I do, because I mean, you see how many different lists I have. I'll go back to the campaigns, right? I'm pulling lists. Where is it? I go back to the agent dashboard. So this is just, and most of my free time is evening hours on the East Coast.
You are now connected to the predictive dialer.
Sorry, this is a menu. It was kind of frozen there. This is a menu I wanted to be on. So I do have East Coast areas, right? They're all in the Eastern time zone, but you know, if I'm like off at 5 and I'm making these evening hours, then I can only call so much. I expand my call times by working West Coast accounts, and can you tell, like, I have a California accent, so I almost feel more comfortable working West Coast type of accounts because I, you know, spent 25 years in California, 13 years in Washington State, and I've only been on the East Coast for 3 years. So, you know, now I'm a little bit more familiar. I can actually say the city names, but you know, it was a tough onboarding process for me.
I hear you. And the flexibility, right? Of being able to say it's 9 o'clock at night, but it's only 6 o'clock there and I can make it.
You take back so much more like good productive time, right?
Do your morning calls on the East Coast and your evening calls in the West Coast, and you're set. I love running campaigns for people that have multiple time zones. Because it means that we can have more available hours to work. Right. We can extend those hours out and cover more ground. So
absolutely. Yeah. So you can see, Massachusetts, I probably have worked that the longest and have the most connections, but I was putting like dumping 2,000, you know, each month. And so I wasn't getting through a whole cycle very well. So that's part of my systems and process that I'm fine tuning that along with pulling more records and stacking lists. So I don't want to talk about it too much yet. It's a little early, but but that's part of my growth goal, is to be able to stack the lead list for that type of motivation. Because right now it's just high equity and, you know.
Well, and going back to driving for dollars, if you were to do a driving for dollars list and stack it with the high equity list and see which ones pop on both, like those are some great leads to contact, right? And you're going to contact all of them anyway, but being able to prioritize those above the rest means fast path to cash, right? When possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's that. Keep your eye on the prize, man. I'm in the Cambridge market. And so, you know, you can get a 50,000 assignment fee on a wholesale deal. And I'm like, how do I get these deals done?
It's only 6:30 there. We got this. Right. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. So it's the areas, but, you know, I did get a deal out of that Massachusetts list. So I, you know, want to keep it all going, because that's where, I mean, for dispositions, that's where I know most of my buyers, and I don't want to have to scramble trying to find, I do have an investor that I could disposition with in California, and I'm still working a lead from last November, but I haven't hit that one up too much, just that keeping that lead alive. And I was like, yeah, if I can get two houses out of that, you know, working that list for as long as I did would make it worth it. But yeah. So what do we got? So did you want to see the back end a little bit more with all the different?
I love your dispositions. It's a little bit different than how I would do it. But again, the way I set them up is for virtual assistants that are working all day long. Right. And so,
so that would be too much space in. Yeah. Exactly.
I love your nuanced, like I absolutely love it. Like that is fantastic. The way you've gone in and customized it. I'm working with Kevin's team, as you know, and it is not this nuanced inside of his call rules or whatever you want to call them, redial templates. However, we are dealing with not being able to get through the list in a decent amount of time, right? We call the record today. It's another however many days until we call it again. And so Or maybe it's the opposite effect, right? We've made 3 attempts and it's only been a day, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
they
yeah.
know who we are. They're not going to answer, and
Yeah.
so we burn them, right?
Not
But the way that
enough time has really passed by, right? Yeah.
The general rule of thumb when you're doing this for your first time and you're overwhelmed, how do I set it up? Whatever your call time is, whatever you think you can book, whether it's 4 hours, 2 hours, whether you have a VA and it's 8 hours, you want to set that redial time for 75% of the time that you plan to be on the phone. And that way you're making sure that maybe they get 2 dials in a day, but more than likely what happens is they're going to be the top of the queue the next day. So if you're consistent on that campaign, you'll be calling them 2 to 3 contacts per 2 to 3 days, right? Until you get about 10 attempts. And in some dispositions like busy tone, it's a little bit different, right? Busy tones, I call them back to back 5 minutes in a row. If after the 3rd attempt, it's not working, I tag it as a bad data number, right? Because I don't want to burn my dialer calling through bad data.
Yeah.
So there's some dispositions that I will tag pretty early on as bad data. And then those are great because we can go and mail them. We can use a different skip tracing company if we need to. We can try and text them and see if that works. But we have them out of the main queue, which if you have a data quality issue, it's a skip tracing
It's a good
issue.
process to have, right? Yeah.
It
So
absolutely
valuable,
is.
so valuable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think for me, that's the obvious fix, right? Is that recycle of the list, because I haven't recycled many of the lists, but that's part of the other problem, right? I'm not on the same list like all the time.
Opportunities.
Exactly. Yes.
So now though, how we tweak, right? And what I'm trying to get into and what Amber helps a lot is where we're having conversation, we're having trainings in regards to the systems, but at the same time, how do we, share that with our VAs and our team without it coming off as it's their problem, their mistake.
Do you share this recording with them? Like live, like you on it? Like
well, I get on there too. And that's the plan too. Start throwing some of my phone calls on there as well.
Yeah.
And I'm always present on those trainings too, which, Amber has said would be great. I haven't missed one either. And I'm there. But at the same time, I just think I continue to reiterate that this is just systems work, right? Like we're building, we're all learning together, right? I brought Amber in was for us all to grow, so literally my VA has 0 experience. I literally invested in her.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what we try and build, right? That camaraderie and that culture where we're all learning from each other. But at the same time, we got a job to do. So.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I don't know if you can diagnose this, but I think what it is the settings on the outbound calls, because there's a lot of abandoned.
Did you mention you were at 5 lines dialing?
That I think is the reason why. Yeah.
I almost never go above 3.
Yeah, I thought I changed that before I hopped on here, but this is a new list for me, so I obviously didn't. Let me go back.
I would say it's probably that.
Yeah.
In addition, if you have several of those dispositions set to call back right away and we're sitting here chatting.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That probably will also make it a little bit higher.
Okay. Redial templates, right? Yeah. No, where do I go for that? It's in the campaign. And that was the Rhode Island one. That's this one. Edit. I gotta move this menu. Okay, so it is. This, yeah.
There it is.
Channels, yeah, 5. Okay, so 3. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what
I would put it down to 3. And then in meetings like this, I would almost put it down to 2, right? Just so that you have time to talk in between without blowing through too many numbers.
Okay.
Yes, it'll lower your total number of dials, but you'll probably have more contacts.
Okay.
So I learned how to drive a dialer on 5.9, which I'm looking to get I think I have an affiliate with. They're like one of the top of the line, but they're like for Allstate, Progressive, like big companies.
Like Salesforce.
Yeah, exactly. Top of the line stuff. They're really for big teams that have hundreds of thousands of records that they need to keep organized. And they do a lot of the same stuff, but it's like working in DOS. Back MS-DOS where we were coding in black and white. It is very manual. So it's all called different names, but at the end of the day, it's more simple than what I learned on. So I can help you diagnose what issues.
Tools, yeah.
Once I figure out what verbiage is what, right? What they're calling what.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's cool. All right. So I guess I can hop back in and make some more calls. Thanks for the tune-up.
You are now connected to the predictive dialer.
Yeah, so this, when a record comes up too, I can tell, but I know this one is fresh lead. So I don't know, maybe about 2,000, maybe less of the new ones. And then an older list that had, I think it had like 500 on it. So there is some that have had a little bit of, but that's the thing is like each time I go to recycle the list, I'm like, I don't know if I did it right.
I hear you there, and you never know. But being that you're the one on the calls, you're gonna find out, right?
Yeah.
Versus waiting on a virtual assistant to hopefully tell you,
they're
having issues.
Well, I can see right away. I just don't know when they pop up. But I can, when the record card comes up, I can tell which list, and it'll say if it's recycled. It'll say recycled, and then the time frame. So
okay,
yeah,
cool.
you do get that. But
cool.
Everyone,
that's why it says not available. I'm not going to get any calls that way.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say thank you. I got to jump off. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Kevin.
Liz,
Bye, Kevin.
I'll see you soon. Amber, we'll see each other soon. And guys,
I need to message you. I have to reschedule again on our meeting.
Don't sweat it. We'll figure it out. All right, guys. Thank you. I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Kevin.
Well, and I don't know if you realize this, and I'll stop if a call picks up, but technically, legally, the abandon rate needs to be below 3%, or TCPA can file can file against you. And it's a pretty stiff.
Hi, this is Sean Driniak, Wells Fargo Advisors. Please do not leave any trade instructions on this voicemail. Leave me.
I'll call him back later.
Yeah.
No answer. Okay.
Now, no answer triggers texts to go out, right?
Pretty much everything does.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Let's see. Now, if I said this was like an agent, it would send a different sequence of text messages. And that's what I meant. I do a separate series of text messages based on the agent disposition, based on the property management disposition. And I think I have to still build out add to vendor list text messaging. So it probably won't do anything. Maybe I'll set him that way too, because he's a mortgage guy. So probably be a better fit instead of a cold call seller. It might be a good banking. Yeah,
absolutely. I love the way your brain works, because at the end of the day, these lead lists that we buy are expensive, and we need to be able to monetize as much as pops into our on the phone as possible, right?
Yeah.
We're only looking for about a 5 to 10% contact rate, which means you're going to dial 100 numbers and only 5 to 10 of them are going to pick up. You need to be able to monetize those, because it's hard to get your contacts, right? You got to put time in, you got to put energy in. So having a way to make money off of everybody is really the name of the game, right?
Yeah, so vendor lists, I use that loosely. So again, it's somebody that if I get an owner having their conversation, maybe they don't pan out as a motivated seller, but maybe they're a good candidate for a retail listing. So I would pass that retail listing off to a real estate agent in that market and hopefully get a split of their commission. So it's not uncommon to ask for, let's say 30% of their realtor as a marketing fee. So you can monetize referrals that way too. You don't always have to,
Absolutely.
you don't always have to be a licensed agent to
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
I've set several agreements up like that. And, you know, some of them are 30%, but if you work with some agents, they will see you as an actual lead source, right? If you have a relationship with one, they can, like, I've had agreements where for every 20 leads, they paid us $200 or $400, right?
Nice.
And so there's different agreements that you can set up, but don't be afraid of those realtors because they love free leads and they are not afraid to pay for them. Zillow as a lead source is really, really expensive.
Yes.
If they're willing to pay for Zillow leads, they'll be more than willing to pay for your vetted leads as well.
And I had that conversation with a broker, and I'm trying to do, again, dispositions in Washington State in Everett. And so I was going through a lead list of, you know, real estate agents. And it's like, that's the pitch, you know, hey, I'm going to utilize this time, this outreach to see if we can work together on referrals, or, hey, by the way, do you have a buyer? Could be a cash buyer. That's a, cause it's, you know, it's rent ready, right? It's not disheveled place, but you know, it could use a little bit of polish and shine. So if it's not a fix and flip buyer, if it's not a landlord buyer, maybe it's that very tired retail buyer who's made 50 offers and got rejected on each one because they weren't so fast, you know. So we'll see. Maybe I can get some more of those out there. Yeah. So we got about 10 minutes. So the next series or the next call is Gualter's mentorship. It's an 8-week program. So download the chat, save tonight's chat, because at the end of the call, it does disappear. And it's a valuable resource for networking. Hello? Oh, that's fax.
I didn't even know fax numbers existed until I got on the dialer, and I was like, really?
Really?
Yeah, because, well, before I got into the call center, the only time I sent fax was as a nurse, medical field, back and forth. I didn't know homeowners had fax machines still. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought that was so outdated, but yeah, you get them all the time. And sometimes I feel like maybe they're just over there and they're like, I don't recognize that number. Fax.
You know, it's funny. Have you ever called an elevator before?
No, I have not. That is fantastic.
It's some obviously random number that I picked up in an elevator. This guy was like, "You've called an elevator."
That's great. That's great. Wow. That's fantastic. Oh my gosh. Well, my favorite, and the first time I heard one, it blew my socks away, are the voicemails that sound as if you're talking to a live person and they're in the middle of a life-threatening situation. I gotta go. My hot air balloon's about to blow up. You know, like it's so scary. And you're like, is this a live call? Is this? And then 2 minutes in, you figure it's a recording, but they got you for 2 minutes. And, you know, I tell my VAs, you get 1 or 2 of those, but then after that, you got to get off the call. 10 seconds, hang up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that I've been tricked a few times, but yeah, that's funny. People are so unique.
They are. And you find all the crazies because all the crazies always answer the phone when you're calling.
Funny. Yeah, they want it. They just want you're their new favorite toy.
Oh yeah. Who can I play with today? Ooh, another number called me. It's their lucky day. Yeah, absolutely. You got to get tough to do this job. And take it
has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 617-892-3.
So this owner is in Massachusetts, but the property is in
not
Rhode
available.
Island.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units, metrounits.com. We're investors and we're looking for a next investment property in Rhode Island. If you're open to offers or know someone who is, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I need to take my own advice and drink more water. My voice is crapping out on me. Okay, so
We just have guys here. I don't know if ST is a guy or a girl, but guys like that. Don't worry too much about it. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but as females, there's a reason we dominate on the phone, and it's because, you know, we have that extra thing that guys don't have sometimes. And guys, when you're learning how to be a cold caller or to cold call in general, fake the confidence. The quickest way to get disrespected on the phone as a man is to lack confidence. People do not respond well to that. So even if you don't know what you're talking about, make sure you sound like you do. It's okay to be wrong, but don't lose that confident voice, because males and females, we need that, because if you're not sure, there's no way we can be sure, right? Yeah. As women, we can get away with a lot more on the phone. I think that's why we're better at it. We can mess up and ask for forgiveness, and typically they'll forgive us, at least on a higher rate. And we can also play with our voice a little bit more. Guys have to be on the ball, right? They have to be suave, they have to be confident, and they have to lead the way.
Yeah. But they have a better base with that DJ FM, like
that late night DJ voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Chris Voss talks about.
Yeah, I never split the
But I'll tell you what, the girls that learn that and master it, they're absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah. Have you, I think it's a Wolf on Wall Street, that book. Have you, with the tonality? I think that's something that I need to revisit too.
What is the name of that book? I've read it before. It's really
in my
good.
Audible. Yeah, it's in my Audible.
Yeah, it's a good one too. Those two books were my first sales books that I ever read. And I was director of operations of a call center at that point. And so I was using what I learned, not only to help me talk to clients and teach them how to close their leads, but also to develop our coaching and to train our virtual assistants how to do that as well. So super important.
Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort.
The Way of the Wolf. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such a good book.
Yeah.
And the audiobook is better because he does it in his own voice, and you can
hear it.
The tonality. Yeah. To me, that's better. And Chris Voss's book too. I love the Audible.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. The paper book has its value for that one as well, but the Audible version, that's so powerful.
Yeah, I know I'm a visual person. So for me, having like text in front of me and listening to it, writing notes, that all helps.
Hello, this is Alex at Art Care Resources. I can't come to a phone right now, but please leave.
Oh. Sounds like a business line. The email looks like it matches. I'll just try them again later. I'm going to change the first name because the text is going to go out correct if it says Alex.
Good catch.
And then I'm going to erase the last name, and I'm going to keep the rest, but I'm going to put updated record.
Beautiful. And you guys, it's always important to update your records, update your notes. When in doubt, leave a note about it. As a former nurse, your notes will save you or take you to jail, right?
Yeah.
That's what we were trained.
And yeah, if I actually pay attention while I'm on the call, like if it calls up again, these recent notes, it'll whatever I typed in here, it'll show up there. Plus at the end of today's session, I'll be able to download it in a CSV and an Excel spreadsheet. And so I can transfer whatever kind of notes that I want. I can highlight or prioritize a certain amount of dispositions. I mean, I can already pull that between a range of dates, but that's why I like it, because it does effectively work as a good CRM system, at least as a first pass. And then your hot leads, you can move over to, or I do it that way anyway. I move them over to RealFlow, which is my CRM system. So yeah, we have time for one more call, but yeah, after this one, Monday nights, Gualter's 8-week mentorship program is a great way to get extra accountability and have access to celebrity coaches. So if you want to move to the next level, there's that option at any point. You can start at any point. And then it just rotates through. So new people come in, other people graduate out.
Call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 347-423-3594
So this is a
not
New York
available.
owner.
At the tone, please record your message.
Interesting.
When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units, METROUNITS.com. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property in Rhode Island. If you're open to offers, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. Okay. Yes, and then as far as the Alchemist, investors and group, there is a summit in October, so I'm looking forward to going to that. Let's see, where is this? And my so it's in Orlando. My dad lives in Orlando and I'm planning to move there, but I'm trying to get him to be my cold caller for any of my Spanish speaking dispositions. So make it a family business.
Yes, that sounds fantastic. I've recently started a campaign in Phoenix where we get a lot of Spanish speakers and we export them, or actually we add them to a web form, which puts them in a separate part of their CRM. And then I think what their plan is to automate some text in Spanish out to those. Yeah. And then they can handle the responses, right?
Yeah. Well, that's
our agents don't speak Spanish. So what do? You don't want to trash those leads before you give them a shot. So.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing. So I do put that as a disposition. I told Kevin, I said, I don't care. I'll give you all my Portuguese speaking, leads or whatever, but I need to have some sort of messaging for them because I don't speak it. You can do it live on a call, which is fine. That's why I was like, oh, Rhode Island, Fall River, New Bedford, those are tough areas to call.
Have them write you out a text that says, I don't know Portuguese, but I'm sorry, I don't speak Portuguese. However, I've passed your information over to one of my partners and we'll be reaching out soon.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's it. I used to know the phrase and I have it written down somewhere for that same thing in Spanish.
Okay.
And I'll train my virtual assistant.
Hello. Please leave a message.
Virtual assistants to learn that one.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units, METROUNITS.com. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property in Rhode Island. If you're open to offers, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. That was $1 million property.
Ooh.
That must be a multifamily, like a 6-unit or something. I don't know. But this it's 8 o'clock. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to leave it there because we will get kicked out of this. But thank you all for sticking to the end, especially Amber, for all your words of wisdom. Thank you for fine-tuning my process. And I know I'm a work in process, but we will get there. So guys, come back next week. And if you haven't joined, we do have a Facebook group for more information throughout the week. But thanks for being with us here tonight. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.